Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs for caring for your home. Out. Indecision, overthinking, second-guessing every choice you make. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Beige on beige on beige. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week in Minden, Louisiana, it isn't Santa Claus coming down the chimney. It's a couple of murderers who plan on making one family's Christmas a nightmare. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. Yeah. We are excited. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
There you are.
We're very jacked over here we love the holidays. We're holiday people. I'm a Christmas person. I like putting the tree up and doing the lights, and our house is ridiculous. Sarah's got it. It's decorated pretty deep, so we're into this.
So fun.
I mean, everything's fun about it. We enjoy it a lot. So we have a little Christmas murder here. And it's a murder it's not just interesting because it happened on Christmas. If it happened on, July 18th, it'd be just as interesting. It's an insane murder, but makes it a little extra the way it happened here. But before we get to that, just want to tell everybody, thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for coming out to the live shows. Thank you for your reviews.
Holy shit.
Thank you for your reviews. By the way, you can review on Spotify now. So
it's awesome.
If you listen on Spotify, hit us up on there. It helps us out a lot. So do that. There, that can be your Christmas present to your boys here. do a little review wherever you listen, whatever platform you are listening to. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com where tickets to live shows are available. Merchandise is available. So much. You want a coffee mug? You want a shirt? You want shoes? You want a skateboard? It's all there. It's all there. So head over, do that. You can find out any other information that you need. Patreon.com/crime and sports. This week, we are going to have to skip this week. We apologize for that. We will be back with a fresh slate on the next round. Don't worry about that. And we'll make them bangers, we promise. But the way the holiday fell, and also another factor that is absolutely unhelpable. And listen to the end of the show. Tune in. We got something a lot of people might be interested in at the end of the show that I got to tell you. I don't want to say it now and bum everybody out. So we're going to wait till the end of the show and talk about
bum you out
that.
then.
Yeah, we'll bum you out at the end of the show after we made you laugh. That's how we're going to do that. That's going to be our big closer this week. So check that out. But
solid closer.
Definitely Patreon. Tons of good stuff. Back catalog's amazing. And I know our next crime and sports one will be worst sports contracts, which will be amazing. And then I have some good stuff lined up for small town murder. Don't worry about it. Check it out. You know what you can do too? You can gift Patreon. You can do that. You can gift somebody Patreon. So last minute Christmas present, boom, Patreon for them. And they can have that and a huge back catalog. And you'll enjoy all that stuff. In addition to that, we have to do the disclaimer here.
We do.
This is a comedy show.
It is.
We are comedians. We're going to make jokes about things. We're not going to make jokes about certain things, though. We're going to make jokes about, a small town police force that can't catch a murderer. They look at him over and over and they're like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's Bill. And then it's obviously Bill. We'll make fun of that. We'll make fun of a murderer who thinks it's a good idea to kill someone and that they have the perfect plan to get away with it, which they don't.
It's nuts.
That's what we make fun of. What we do not make fun of, what we go out of our way not to make fun of, is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but
we're not scumbags. That's how it works, okay? So if that sounds good to you, we really do have a crazy story. Thank you for spending your holiday week with us and all that good stuff. If you think true crime and comedy should never go together, you might not like the show. You might, though. I think you might be kind of off on what you think it is.
Give it a run.
Give it a run, but don't complain. We did warn you there will be jokes, but it won't be about the actual murder. So enjoy. There's nothing funny about horrible, horrible things that happen to people, although the things around it can be crazy. So let's do that. Now that that's said, I think it's time to sit back, clear the lungs, and shout, Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
I would like that.
All right. We were up in leafy New Hampshire last week.
Yeah,
obviously.
It
was very leafy.
Plymouth, right?
Up there in Plymouth and then into Massachusetts because the guy was a serial killer. So, he gets around. That said, this week we are going down south. We're going to spend Christmas in northern Louisiana.
Oh, my.
Oh, boy. We're going to Minden, Louisiana. Yeah. Minden. The murder actually takes place in a even tinier town that's attached to Minden. I mean, it's just a little satellite. And we'll talk about it. It's kind of been absorbed into Minden, like the government and everything. But it's actually called Dixie Inn, INN, like it's a bed and breakfast. Yeah, like it's a bed and breakfast, the Dixie Inn.
Motel.
Yeah, a motor lodge. Right. So Minden, I want to show you this, Jimmy. If you roll your chair here, I got to turn this for you. This is the Village of Dixie Inn's website. Yeah, it's the logo, its phone number, its address, and at the bottom it says, this website is no longer updated or maintained. To contact the Village of Dixie Inn, please call during normal business hours. We've gone back to 1989. We're sorry. We don't put up town meetings up there anymore.
It'd be pretty great if they put just like one of those little clocks that say, be back at this time. Be back on this date.
For service, ring bell, and no one ever comes.
Does it say emergency, call 911 in red on that?
It does. Emergency, dial 911.
Who didn't know that?
Apparently they needed to get on, but they can get on the Village of Dixie Inn's website, but they didn't know the emergency number.
Check the website for the emergency number.
Will you dial up the town website? It's no longer maintained, but they do tell us to call 911.
I wonder if that's the right number still.
Jesus. Northwestern Louisiana, this is in. About 35 minutes to Shreveport. So this is almost like a suburb of Shreveport, if you can call anything outside of Shreveport a suburb of, because Shreveport's not that big of a place.
Shreveport's not that big, yeah.
No. It's about 3.5 hours to Dallas, Texas. It's closer to Dallas than it is to New Orleans. It's 5 hours and change to New Orleans, and it's about an hour and 52 hours to Dry Prong, Louisiana, which was our last Louisiana episode 218. Dry Prong. This is in Webster Parish. As we remember, Louisiana has parishes instead of counties because, I don't know, they just have to be weird and different, and why not? There's
parishes and wards and weird.
There's a weird French thing going on down there. There's people who have been in this country for 7 generations and nobody speaks English. There's weird shit going on down there.
I think it's English.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like a Cajun Creole mix up like that. Anything south of New Orleans, don't expect to understand a human being. You just
less intelligible Jerry Reed.
They really. It's a tough accent. It's area code 318. The motto of here. Feels like home.
I'll bet it does.
Feels like home. Feels like humidity, probably. That's what I'm thinking. Minden was established in 1836 by Charles Peter. That's with 2 E's. Peter. That's a lot. That's three E's. It's half the letters in his name are E's. That's a lot. People from this town, there's actually a couple of people. Gene Austin, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's the guy who sang My Blue Heaven, the song.
Oh, really?
Blue. He's that guy. They sold like 5 million albums.
Good for him.
And also Sweet Lou Dunbar, who played for the Harlem Globetrotters, which we all love the Harlem Globetrotters. So that's good shit. Yeah, it's weird. 2 people came out of this tiny, weird little area. The town's name is from the German city of Minden. They decided to just take that. I don't know why. This town makes no sense. Louisiana is totally French. They have a German name and later on a Scottish festival. The whole thing makes no sense.
Embrace everything but our own.
Yeah, it's so weird. During the Civil War, a huge Confederate encampment was here, located inside Minden, that housed over 15,000 Confederate soldiers.
Jesus.
It served as a supply depot for the Confederate Army, and they have there's a bunch of Confederate soldiers buried in their cemetery, the old Minden Cemetery. It was reconstruction difficult for Minden. At one time, they thought both candidates for mayor were carpetbaggers. Obviously, they weren't down for the cause. So the town voters wrote in the name of a bull, of a local town bull. They won. They wrote in and elected a bull mayor.
How do you? Oh my God.
That's Louisiana. It's different down here, I'm telling you. Well, neither of them. I think a bull would do a better job.
That's got to be a nice city hall with all the last mayors on the wall.
Well, then you go into the mayor's office, it's destroyed, their desk is turned over, everything's broken. Mr.
Holes
Mayor,
in everything.
God. Yeah. He's gorging his press secretary. It doesn't work out well. It's tough. So in 1899, this is one of those places, Minden, that in northern Louisiana where it gets insanely hot in the summer and super cold in the winter. They have tornadoes and blizzards and you name it, whatever natural disaster.
Hurricanes.
Yeah. Whatever a God-fearing person would say, maybe God doesn't want us to live here.
Yes, this is a damned area of the country.
They take it the opposite way and they go, God's given us obstacles to overcome.
Challenges.
So anyway, they had the Great Blizzard of 1899. The Great Blizzard, where they experienced the coldest temperature ever recorded in Louisiana, happened in this town. The temperature, February 13th, 1899, went to minus 16 Fahrenheit.
Holy shit.
Which is about negative 27 Celsius for all you Europeans out there.
That's so cold.
That's freezing for Louisiana. During the Great Depression, there was 2 banks in Minden, and one of them failed, so that was bad. Yeah. So half the people in town lost their money because this is pre, FDIC protection. And then a fire destroyed a major section of the downtown area right around that time as well. So
and the other bank?
Things were going back. Yeah, the other bank, all the other money burned up with the bank. And that was it. Everybody had to start over. Okay, that was 1931. So this is all happening in succession. Then on May 1st, 1933, a tornado ripped through the town and destroyed 20% of the homes.
Why would you stay?
1 in 5 homes. Bye. That's enough now. We're leaving.
Yeah. That was in the 30s, though. Back then, people didn't live long enough to know that in 1899 it was freezing as fuck around here.
There's one old guy going, you should have seen how cold it was. They're like, shut up, Grandpa. My house is blown down and the bank's on fire. God damn it.
He's 47, talks like he's 90.
Well, yeah, back then it was tough on you. The Dust Bowl. You ever see pictures of the Dust Bowl people?
Yeah, it's brutal, man.
There is tiny little girls that are to crow's feet, and just they look fucking haggard. You're like, man, you've been smoking a pipe for the last 12 years? What's going on?
She's 9. What the fuck?
Yeah, damn. Poor kid's haggard, man. It's all over for her. Reviews of this town, wonderful, wonderful. This town, they really run the gamut, too, on reviews. From I love it to holy shit, I wish it would catch on fire again, pretty much. So here's one, 5 stars. I liked how friendly the people are and how everyone have great attitudes.
Everyone have great attitudes.
Everyone have great attitudes. The stores that I visited, everyone greeted you and always had a smile. These reviews with the everyone's and always I don't like it.
And bad grammar. It's stunning, really.
It's stunning. And the name of the person is just visitor. They visited the place and they liked it a lot. This person, imagine just driving through places and reviewing everyone that you drove through based on one interaction you had with someone in a store.
We should start doing that.
We should. We really should. I'll give it a really detailed one, too. You know me. I'll put time into it. Like, it'll be a...
Whatever the town was that I ate Popeye's chicken at a gas station, they're getting a terrible review.
Somewhere in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's where it was.
Food poisoning is everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's rampant.
Every time I eat there, I get food poisoning.
I've gotten food poisoning 100% of the times I've eaten there. That's what we're going to do every single time. Never failed. Never fails. So, oh, I love it. Here's another 5-star. They love it, man. Minden, Louisiana is a lively town filled with historic artifacts and culture. Minden's own Main Street offers antiques galleries and delicious restaurants. Mm-hmm. So 5 stars. They love it. They live there, it says. No food poisoning. I mean, delicious. They didn't say anything about its level of poison, but
yeah.
Here's one that's 3 stars. It's not getting it's getting dicey. Minden is a very small town, which I have lived in my entire life. So this is a lifelong resident here.
Okay.
There is not much to do around here. That's kind of to be expected. I would like to see us finally get a few more stores than the ones we've had for years. A few more stores. I really wish we could have like a movie theater or a club. Yeah, that'd be great. Wow.
Now that I'm older, I want things to do.
A movie theater. Yeah, that's not a lot to ask for, really.
No, it's not.
That is like bare minimum. I mean, these towns in the Dust Bowl had movie theaters.
Yeah, there was always one that, had that big triangle marquee that came out, jutted out from the building.
And if it closed down, the whole town would go, no, we need it. And the guy go, oh, shit, I guess I got to reopen so they don't kill me.
You have to lose money every month, sir, because this makes us feel like Americana.
We need Americana. I would listen to these lines, though. I'd like to see a few more stores. I really wish we could have like a movie theater or a club. Next sentence. Minden is very cluttered, seems like to me.
What?
You just asked for more shit, and now you're saying it's cluttered.
There's not enough.
We don't have many hotels for people to choose where they want to stay if they are from out of town. Overall, it's a nice place to come if you're hiding and don't want to be bothered.
What?
Jesus, what is it, Alaska? This is really Minden's a weird place.
Criminals come here.
1 star here.
Yeah.
They have a lot of people that are out of jobs and kids that have nothing to do but get into trouble.
Ooh.
That's all it is. Parent is the person there.
That's who wrote it?
That's it. Parent. And here's another 2 stars. If this area doesn't get better, I predict everyone moving away. Everyone. Wow. Mass exodus, huh? That's a lot.
That's my prediction.
Wow. They're all going to leave. All of us. And
if it doesn't get better, they're going to leave.
They're going to leave.
Pretty solid choice.
All right, here's my favorite. This is 1 star. I'm reading it right as written, so some of it doesn't make any sense, but we'll figure it out. 1 star. Okay. This town looked like everybody has died in it. That's the opener.
It's a solid line.
You pulled in, they're all dead already, like a Twilight Zone episode. Run-down building and houses. Old, ugly, rotten houses. What is the mayor doing with money this city is taking in? The best place I'd smoking Joe's. The best place I'd smoking Joe's. I maybe eat
that was
best place.
That was typed on an iPhone. That's best place is smoking Joe's.
Maybe, yeah. Would never come back here to live. Well, former resident is what it says under them. So that's pretty awesome. Does he think
that tax money goes to fixing up people's houses? Is that what he thinks?
Right? God damn it, my porch is falling apart. No, that's not how that works.
I'm going to call the mayor because my garage is leaking, James.
You should. Get the mayor of wherever the hell stupid city in Arizona you live in. And
I think it's Peoria. Yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah, that's my address. Now, people in this town, it's gone up a little bit here. 11,575 people here right now. Dixie Inn, the town where the actual murder takes place, has about 220 people in it. So it's it's nothing. But the stats are pretty much the same. We'll give you the Minden stats so they make sense. Female population in both places way higher than the males. I don't know what the hell the males are doing, getting eaten by crocodiles or some shit, but this is our alligators. Not crocodiles. Alligators.
They're going down to Australia.
Yeah, they're going over to play with Paul Hogan and get eaten by fucking whatever. Who cares? They're both...
Yeah.
They'll bite you, either one. So it's 54% female, which is way, way high for a place with 11,000 people in it. Median age is right about the national average, 37. Twice as many people over the age of 75 here is normal, though.
Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of old people here. Low married population, it's only 40%, normally 50%. More divorced, and the divorce rate and widow rate is much higher, though, somehow. So less people married, more people dying and getting out of these marriages. Getting out one way or another, we'll put it. Either it's one way or another.
Figure out an exit.
Absolutely. Single with children, 25%, which is very high compared to normal. Single with no children, 13%. Race of this town, it's a pretty balanced town here. From what I gather, I don't know if this is true or not, but from what I've gathered, the neighborhoods kind of go along racial boundaries type of deal here. 45.7% white, 50.6% black. Okay. So pretty close. 0.5% Asian. Not too many Asians. 1.1% Hispanic. That is incredibly low. Normally 17.5% in the rest of the country.
Yeah.
65% religious. Not a shock here.
Oh boy.
This is Bible country. 43% of the people here are Baptist, my friend.
My God.
Baptists are, as we know, the Catholics of the South.
That is heavy.
That's heavy. And we were in New Hampshire last week, and it was the same thing with Catholic there. It never fails. Only 1% Catholic here, and that's not playing that shit. 10% Methodist, 3% Pentecostal, 0.0% Jewish. I'm not surprised with that here in this town. Webster County, or Webb Parish, whatever the fuck, 34% of the people voted Democratic in the last election, 65% Republican, 1.2% Independent. The unemployment rate here right now is exactly the national average, but the household income is less than half the national average, which is not great. $28,450 is the median household income here.
I cannot imagine.
That is what it's $57,500 in the rest of the country. So 38% of the people here make under $20,000 a year. It's tough, man. Yeah, it's rough. It's not an easy place to make a living if in a rural area like that. And some of them there are, but I don't think there's like any manufacturing around here or anywhere you could get like a I
don't know.
A decent, so that kind of job where you can...
Just so that I don't feel sad, I'm going to assume that these people work for cash under the table and don't report it.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they're all just...
Jesus, that hurts, man.
It's just a society of bartenders. That's all it is.
Servers and bartenders.
Just selling each other Coke and hiding the tips. That's it. Who knows? Cost of living, 100 is regular average. Here it is 74, so pretty low. The housing, though, real low, 33 out of 100.
Really?
Median home cost $148,400, which is about half of the national average.
That is so cheap.
That's wild cheap. That's really cheap. And if we've convinced you, damn it, you have nowhere else to go but Minden. We have for you the Minden, Louisiana Real Estate Report. All right, your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $720 a month, which is super low. It's almost $1,300 in the rest of the country. I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,444 square foot house here.
That's a lot of house.
It's a lot of house. It's right off the real estate listing. Quote, needs some TLC.
Oh, that means it's a piece of shit.
I would call it pretty fucked up if I wrote the listing. Pretty fucked up, but it is brick, so it's going to stand through a tornado, so that's good. It'll still be standing. Recent $10,000 price cut. $99,500 for that, though.
They have that listed at 109?
109. It's 2,400 square feet, but it needs a lot. It needs help. Then I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,416 square foot house. This thing is... It's a big house. Needs a complete update. Brown carpets, dark dreary kitchen, weird wallpaper around the border wallpaper and the weird. It was decorated in 1988 and no one has touched it since. It's basically, but it's on a half acre. And it's a lot of house. $165,000 for that.
That's amazing.
So that's not bad. Then I found this. This is a steal, and if you're in a city that's expensive, like Phoenix or something, 6-bedroom, 5-bath, 5,338 square feet. It's a
monster.
Huge house, big brick house, lovely. It's a lovely home. It's right on a lake or a pond or some shit. There's water right. You could go out in the back and throw your fishing pole out there. 6.5 acres. Mm-hmm. Not too shabby, reasonably updated. It's not, they didn't do it last year based on the newest HGTV standards, but it's been done in the last, 10, 12 years. Okay. It's pretty nice. $525,000 for that.
That's incredible.
5,300 square feet. Yeah, in Phoenix,
incredible.
That house would be $4 million, so that's pretty good. Yeah. Things to do. Okay. Not a lot. But I did find something weird, of course, because, why not? It's the Scottish Tartan Festival. Festival. Yeah, Scottish shit.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. I found the events that happen here. Maybe we can discern what it is based on those. What do you think? Let's give it a shot. So. Maybe we can reverse engineer this shit and figure it out. The Highland cattle herding they have.
Okay. That's what tartans do?
There's a lot of things going on here. Enjoy the antics of the dog herding of the Highland Scottish castle. Or cattle, not castle, cattle. The cattle will be herded. How do you herd a castle? The cattle will be herded into the corral between 10:30 a.m. and noon, with demonstration of commands happening between 12:30 and 1. I think you're watching dogs herd cattle. That's the event here.
And it's going to happen. They'll get them in there sometime between 10 and noon.
10 and noon. I don't
a couple hours.
It's very weird. Hay rides. Okay. 2 different hay rides will run from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. So there's that. There's a broadsword demonstration.
Oh, that I love.
That's pretty neat. This is an event sponsored by Shreveport Historical European Martial Arts. This will occur at various times throughout the day. So you're standing there with your kids, and out of nowhere, 2 dudes with giant broadswords will just start fucking Conan and the Barbarian in front of you, just swinging them at each other.
Those swords are so heavy. I can't believe people swung those.
They're huge. That's why they needed Arnold to play that part, because no one else could wield the sword around with a giant guy on steroids.
bisect a human. They are heavy as fuck, man.
Yeah, even if they're not sharp,
Yeah.
you can bisect somebody. Now, here's another one. I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's hilarious. The kirking, Kirking, the kirking of the tartan ceremony.
That sounds hot.
I kirked her right in the tartan, baby. Yeah.
I'm right in the tartan.
I know. I kirked her right in the tartan, boy. I don't know. She liked it. Hey, she asked me for it. What do you want from me?
Kirking.
I kirked her good. There will be a kirking of the tartans held on festival grounds at 12 noon, immediately following the Grand March of Clans. Don't do that in Louisiana.
Nope.
I understand it's different in Scottish, but you have to understand where you are. This is, a Scottish forebears as we publicly display our clan tartans, which were banned for so long in the past by the English government. Then there's music, and it's a lot of older people with weird instruments. There's shit I don't even recognize. A lot of, I see bagpipes everywhere.
A lot of shit I don't
Well, Jimmie, look, okay, roll over here, and I'll turn to the, what the fuck is that? What is that?
Looks like a hand drum.
Right? That's what it looks like. It's like a tambourine that doesn't tambourine. Like a hand snare. I've never seen that before.
Is that a thing? A hand snare? You just
now look at these
with your
fucks.
thumbs? Oh
Look
my
at him.
God.
He's like, hey man, I'm playing the bagpipes. He's like this long haired, like, hey. And then this guy's like, who's fucking playing the bagpipes, bro? He's just this old.
He looks more like where am I?
with an electric guitar. What a weird thing.
I want to watch that kind of.
It's
a tartan
weird.
is a piece of clothing, right?
I think it's like your family crest. I think on something. I think, but I don't really care. So don't tweet us.
Jordan's husband is going to text me and tell me all about.
Perfect.
This.
We'll know all about it soon. Crime rate in this town.
Yeah.
Property crime, a little bit low, maybe about 10% low. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about 1/3 under the national average. So
terrific.
It's a pretty safe little place. Not bad. That said, let's go back to a day when it wasn't safe at all, shall we?
Right.
Let's do this. Let's talk about a murder, Jimmie. Okay, now, so to do this, we need to go back in time, Jimmie, to December the 24th, Christmas Eve, 1982.
Lovely time.
Let's do it. Oh, lovely. Big hair flopping around everywhere. Feathered.
Yeah. It's my
feathered hair.
Christmas.
So it's your Jimmie's second Christmas. Isn't this sweet? There we go. Yeah, we were little babies at this time. We were little tiny kids. Neither of us were even in fucking school yet. We were little.
No.
So
walking around in cloth diapers.
Oh boy, I've heard that story. So it's 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve, December 1982. Let's talk about a couple of guys here. Jimmie Wingo.
Oh,
Jimmie Wingo over here, who
Jimmie.
sounds like he has a Food Network show, doesn't he? Let's
just makes wings.
Jimmie Wingo's World Wing Tour, you know?
Yeah.
And he's got like the Jimmie Wingo dancers behind him that are like
It's a knockoff of Hot Ones.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the same type of shit, but he's like, I'm Jimmie Wingo. And he's really into it. He's like a failed cruise ship director.
Everybody's having ghost pepper sauce today. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Jimmie Wingo's 30 years old. Now, growing up, Jimmie Wingo's a Boy Scout.
Oh.
He's a Boy Scout growing up. He does many things. He's a mechanic at one point. He's a former Oil City police officer as well.
Oil City.
Oil City, baby. I wonder where they got that name. You don't have to dig too deep for the history of the name there. We found oil. Well, shit. I mean, Oil City. I mean,
obviously.
Oil City, USA, baby. Fucking put it on a T-shirt, send it out. We're doing it.
We are selling merch, y'all.
They're selling merch, baby. So he was an Oil City police officer, and he actually tried to be police chief there in 1976. So just 6 years ago, he lost a close election for police chief of Oil City. And he also ended up, he was a mechanic for a while, and he's done some things here. He knew a guy. There's a guy named Bogey Price, who he runs a sporting goods store in Atlanta, Texas. Yes, that's a place. Atlanta, Texas. The look on Jimmie's face just now is amazing. He's just
that was baffling.
What? Did I hear that right?
Two different places? That doesn't make sense, James.
You didn't trust your ears at all right there. You were like, he didn't just say Atlanta, Texas.
This is pretty hard. Yeah.
So this guy says that he knew Jimmie Wingo when he was working at as a mechanic in an Atlanta, Texas garage. Okay. And he said, quote, seems like a pretty nice fella. All right. He would come into my store every day and chat with us. He would look at guns and fishing gear. Yeah. So, typical kind of just backwoods kind of a guy he is.
Man's man.
I guess he worked in the Atlanta area, Atlanta, Texas. Can't express that enough. He worked there in about 79, 80 after his run as a police officer. And once you lose the police chief battle, you know, you've said terrible things and like put it on a lawn sign in your yard about the police chief. You can't exactly just go work for him probably after that. You have to.
You're probably right.
You have to retire in shame, I feel like, and go be a mechanic probably. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, you know, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Probably. So he said that, he worked there and he lived in Louisiana and would drive over to Atlanta, Texas to do his job. So there's another young man here. Now, keep in mind, Jimmie Wingo's 30, Boy Scout, police officer, all this stuff, upstanding mechanic in Atlanta. Yeah. Jimmy Glass, on the other hand, the other Jimmie, two Jimmies in this one. These are going to...
Jimmie and Jimmie.
Jimmie and Jimmie. What a big shocker here. This is... what the hell? Jimmie Glass is 20. He's 10 years younger than Wingo. He's a high school dropout and general ne'er-do-well around town and around everywhere. Just general dirtbag ne'er-do-well high school dropout.
It's a perfect pair.
So what the fuck do they have in common exactly, these
Not
two?
a lot.
Not a lot in common. Well, the one thing they do have in common is they're both in the custody of the Webster Parish Jail on Christmas Eve, 1982. It's one thing they have in common together. No matter what, there's always that.
Couple of Jimmies got arrested.
Couple of Jimmies, not together, mind you. They didn't get arrested together. They've come together under the roof here. So apparently on Christmas Eve, about 8 p.m., they were being they talked the deputies into, or the deputy. I think this isn't deputies. This is one guy who falls asleep with the key ring up there, and if you get a long broomstick, you can get it. Like
there it is.
It's one of those. There's like an old dog sleeping. You know, it's out cold like a basset hound.
Yeah.
So they talked the deputy into letting them make Christmas Eve phone calls. It's 8 o'clock. It's Christmas Eve. Let us call our
kids,
family,
man.
Let us call our literally. Wingo says, I have a kid. I have a girl with a kid. I got all this stuff. This one's going. Let me call my mom. Yeah. It's Christmas. Come on, have a heart. Have a heart. So the deputy goes,
Jesus.
Deputy goes, oh, hell. Yeah, you know what? It's Christmas. Jesus Christ. I can't be. I mean, you got a bunch of guys going, come on, it's Christmas, and you're the only one there. After a while, you're going to crack and go, fine, I'll let you make your stupid phone calls.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't. But this guy says, fine, I would. Let's do it. So he says, you know what? Sure, I'm going to be a nice guy. He lets them out of their cell to make phone calls. And just as they start making their calls, the deputy is, quote, distracted by a disturbance in a cell.
Of course he is.
There's a big ruckus that goes on. He has to run to the back into a cell and see what's going on with a couple of people. At that point, the Jimmies just say, well, fuck it, and they take off.
Okay.
Well, no one here to keep us in. He didn't tell us not to escape. He didn't go, I'm going to go do that now. Don't escape while I'm back there.
You boys stay put now.
Yeah, they ended up using a 4th-floor courthouse elevator and just went down like Ted Bundy, but without the jumping. Like if Bundy just found an elevator and strolled out, that's what it would be.
This will be easy.
Yeah, they just did. They ran away just from there, ran off on foot, and about 8, a little after 8, they're running around in downtown Minden, just doing their thing. And the sheriff, because you got to remember this name, Sheriff Webster Parish Sheriff Royce McMahon, McMahon. He is alerted at that point. So by 8:20 p.m., there's roadblocks up all over town.
Yeah,
which is like 3 roads. I mean, it's not like. You know what I'm saying? It's really not a whole lot of stuff going on here.
Surrounded the town with 2 cars.
Yeah, like, get everybody out there. No, Bill and Bob. Jesus Christ, I tell you, lazy sons of... Well, get him up. I don't care. I don't care how drunk he is. Shit, just tell him to sit in his car. Put his damn pants back on. I don't give a shit. So, they say that Wingo has brown hair. He's about 6'1", fair complexion, may have grown a beard. At some point here in jail.
In the last couple hours?
No, in jail since he was arrested, because they have like his mugshot, and they're like he may have a beard at this point or not, because he could have got out and shaved it. So look out for a possible beard, basically. Possible beard. He's got big bushy hair though. He's got like a big bushy do.
Wow.
Jimmy Glass, he looks like a crazy wrestler. He looks like trying to think of a wrestler people would know, but like an 80s barbarian, like Nord the Barbarian, how he had like wild hair. Not Bruiser Brody, because that was a different kind of hair. But anyway, he has brown hair, Jimmy Glass. He's about 5'8" and weighs 145 pounds. Okay. So he's a much smaller guy here. Now, Wingo was convicted and was waiting on sentencing in jail on a burglary charge.
Oh,
so
Wingo.
That's what he was doing in there. Jimmy Glass had served. He for some reason, I don't know if they don't have a prison there. They just keep them in the county jail.
Oh my God.
So because he was serving, he has 1 year into a 10-year sentence for the armed robbery of a Spring Hill convenience store.
At the county jail, 10 years?
They're keeping him for 10 years at the county jail. So he got put in when he was 19 in the county jail for 10 years for armed robbery. So God. He basically dropped out of high school and immediately started armed robbing. People are like, well, what are you going to do with your life? He's like, I'm thinking about armed robbery. I'm
thinking about going on tour.
The community college has a pretty good course in armed robbery. I figure I'll take a couple semesters, and then I'm going to hit the road with it. I really think I can pull it off.
I'm going to go on tour of all the diamond shamrocks of this country.
I'm going to start my own business. I don't want to work for one of these big convenience store robbery firms that people get recruited to after school. I don't want to work for one of those. I really want to kind of do my own. It's got my own identity in the robbery game.
Be your own boss.
These two are jerk-offs, a burglar and a convicted burglar and a convicted armed robber, these idiots are. So they're off on foot. That's about 8:20. Roadblocks are up. By 9:15 p.m., the roadblocks are still in full force. They haven't found them. It's been an hour. These idiots are still wandering around. And we bring into the picture Conan Brown, Connon, Conan. I've never seen that as a first name before. Have you?
It's not Conan?
I don't. Not with 2 N's, and right?
I don't know.
Conan has an A in it too.
It does.
This is Conan Brown.
I guess.
A lot of people named Brown in this story too, but they're mostly related. So it's not hard to follow this one, I promise.
Correct.
So he goes up to a roadblock about 9:15. He and his wife Lois drive up to the roadblock. They're on their way home. They live in a house just a few hundred feet. It's not far from the roadblock, and also it's a few hundred feet from their parents' house as well. So they have kind of. Their parents have like a construction business, and then they have their house, and then a couple of the kids have houses too. They're like right there on the streets. They have like a bunch of adjoining properties type of deal. And there's a McDonald's mixed in there somewhere too.
Jesus.
Behind the parents' house, there's a McDonald's. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but it's on Bellevue Road and Dixie Inn. So they were sitting there at the roadblock, Conan and Lois. And Conan said it's probably just a driver's license check or registration or whatever the fuck, So he takes his wallet out and gets his license, gets up to the roadblock, and the actual sheriff is there of the whole parish. So he's like, oh, wow, this is different.
Sheriff, is that you?
Damn. He says, what are you doing out
patrol tonight?
On Christmas Eve night at 9:20? What the hell's the sheriff doing here? He should have like 5 fucking scotches in him by now.
Yeah.
Yelling at his grandchildren or something. This is the hell's happening. And, they shook hands and shit because they know each other because it's this place.
Right.
And the sheriff told him to, go ahead and drive through. And Conan Brown said, well, why don't you tell us what's going on? And he said, I can't tell you right now. You'll find out, but I can't tell you now. Just drive through and go home. So nobody knew what the roadblock was about. So these people didn't know to hey, lock your doors. Escaped armed robbers and burglars on the loose.
And I get saving face and because they escaped from your jail. That's likely what he's doing. But
yes, absolutely.
Isn't your job to protect the public? Don't you want to let them know that shit's on the loose?
First thing is, hey, everybody, lock your doors. Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah.
Armed robbers. It's not like they were had different white collar criminals out there. They're going to try. These guys are armed robbers and burglars. Right. This is crazy. So
these are violent men. Quit with your fucking humility. Eat your humble pie and just tell people we fucked up. There's some bad people out here.
Things might have turned out a little differently if he did. So now let's talk about Conan's parents here. This is Newt Brown. That's his dad. He's 55 years old Newt. And then Earlene Neely Brown is the mom, and Newt's wife. She's 51 years old. So he was born in Sarepta, Louisiana. Lived in Minden for years and years and years. They owned Newt Brown Contractors, Inc. He's a member of the Baptist Church. He served in the European theater in World War II. Literally fought Hitler. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. So
unbelievable.
Fucking hero, this guy. So I mean, this guy's a man. You know what I'm saying, or just a badass. You say that because at the World War II, you think of that like these old
resilient son of a bitch.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like it's just that's a lot. So he did a lot. It's
a fascinating war. The fight was like literal hand-to-hand combat.
Well, no, there's a lot of not too much of it.
But I mean, they're on the ground running through trenches and shit after people. Yeah, actually there.
They had crazy weaponry there. The Civil War would break down into like bayonet charges at some point. With they had crazy weapons. Guys would do bayonet charges and they'd fucking blast cannon fire and blow up whole lines and shit. It was insane. They didn't, like the old generals didn't realize, artillery's different now. They were just like, charge the line. Like, what the fuck? So anyway, his wife here, Earlene, she was born in Changaloo, Louisiana.
Oh, it sounds lovely.
Changaloo, and she's also a member of the church, and they've run this construction business together since 1969, and all the kids work there. It's a family business. Sure. They live around there. They work there. The one woman who's a secretary for Newt Brown Contractors said that always, even though he's the boss, Newt, he always works right there beside you. You're more likely to find him out changing a tire on a truck or running a drag line than you are doing paperwork.
Really?
He's that kind of guy. He's a hands-on guy. He didn't say I can make a lot of money doing this. He said I like building shit. That's the type of guy he is. And, he's like, I'll go beat Hitler. I'll just go over there. I'll go fight him. It's all right.
Beat Hitler. I can build a fucking house.
I can install your plumbing system. Don't worry about it. So he said that she said that Mrs. Brown, too, also very hardworking woman, always there. You see her come in and gets down on her hands and knees and scrubs the floor. And the employee says she doesn't have to do that. She pays us to do that, and she just does it anyway. They said that he was the kind of guy, always, he'd have regular cookouts and fish fries for his employees and tell them to invite their friends and family if they wanted, and, trying to have a nice atmosphere. They said the Christmas bonuses he gave, they had 17 employees, and this woman said, quote, they're always a lot bigger and a lot more generous than they ever had to be. Wow. So they're good people, these people. Right. They're nice people, that salt of the earth people, and they actually, want to. He said he's got a business, but he doesn't seem to just be trying to extract every penny out of it. He gives back to his employees. He likes to work on stuff. He likes to do things. During the Christmas party this year, the workers all chipped in because they like him so much and bought him a new pair of elk hide boots.
Oh, I've never even heard of those.
I didn't know you made boots out of elk hide, but apparently you do. And
well, James, the fanciest ones are.
That's true. How did I not know? I look for a moose boot, actually, but if you're going to go with elk and be a little...
I don't want elk hide boots unless on the toe is where you put the fucking rack.
That would be amazing if you had boots with antlers and they're like, what are those? They're elk, obviously. Look at the goddamn antlers.
That's a 12 point right there.
You can't even walk. They're clacking together. That's fashion, Jimmy.
I want them.
So apparently, Newt coveted these elk hide boots big time, and was showing them off to everybody, going, "Look at what I got! Look at my new boots!" And the employees were happy about that. So Christmas Eve night, they were at their camp that night at Lake Bistineau. It's Louisiana. I'm sure it's like
French.
You can't even pronounce it. They just like, you're like, what was that now?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'll be there.
What was that?
On my way.
Don't know. They left there about 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve night because they had to get home because it's Christmas Eve, and Earlene told her friend, quote, we've got to get home so I can put Newt's turkey in the oven.
Oh, Newt gets his own turkey.
Newt likes his turkey. Well, there's people coming over, but he's gonna carve the bird. It's, he's the guy who's real interested in the turkey. She said that, quote, he liked his Christmas turkey simmered overnight. What about simmered? I think maybe like low heat bacon.
You're gonna boil it?
Yeah, I don't know what they're. Yeah, well, whatever. He likes a slow cook overnight. Is what
I don't
likes.
Blame him. Juicy.
He's going for that. Going to be juicy. So they got home about 11:30 from their camp there, and they were going to get home and go to bed so they can get up in the morning. She's going to prepare the meal. The grandchildren come over. They all have gifts, and it's a normal thing. They're a big family that likes to celebrate Christmas together. Sure. They get every year. Earlene makes a big, traditional kind of turkey dinner, and everybody over, and some Norman Rockwell shit going on here. They're all just whatever. So, anyway, while all this is going on, the Jimmies, Wingo and Glass, have slipped through roadblocks, and they're hiding in a patch of woods by Highway 7, about a quarter mile from all the Browns and the company there. That they're all their adjoining houses there, which is about a little less than 4 miles from the jail.
Oh boy!
So they've gotten 4 miles on foot almost, though, here in just a few hours,
yeah.
Which isn't bad. They're on the move.
Well, being wanted, like you can walk 4 miles in a couple hours in no time flat, but
yeah, not when you're hiding in the shadows.
Yeah,
that's
bobbing
the thing.
And weaving through every passing car.
You can't just go on the shoulder of the road and start jogging. That's not going to work. The two of you in your uniforms. So from there, they ended up, the Jimmies, they went to a barn that's placed between Conan Brown and Newt Brown's houses.
Okay.
So they're right there. So that's where they're kind of hiding out for now. They're like, they'll never find us in this barn in the middle of fucking nowhere, which is a pretty decent plan, actually.
It's not bad.
It's Christmas Eve, late at night. No one's going out in the barn doing shit. You know what I mean? It's a solid place to wait out a roadblock anyway. So little bit later here, that's like we said, about 11:30 at night on Christmas Eve. Now, the next day, Christmas Day, in the afternoon, early afternoon, Dennis Brown comes over. He's the first of the family to arrive for Christmas dinner.
Okay.
Comes in the early afternoon, presents in his hand, everybody, hey, we're here. And he gets there. First thing he sees is the turkey sitting on top of the stove, uncooked.
Oh.
Raw turkey sitting on top of the stove, which
yuck.
That thing should be getting ready to rest pretty soon.
Erlene's golden brown by now.
Yes, it should have been simmering all night.
Right.
Erlene has got her holiday shit together, and she's, not gonna have her turkey not ready in the middle of the afternoon. So that's very odd. After he notices that, he looks down, and because the turkey's a thing that catches his eye immediately, he looks down and sees that there's a lot of groceries that were obviously for the dinner, different, whatever, can of cranberry sauce or whatever the hell, everything's scattered on the kitchen floor.
Oh.
And there's bottles broken, and the contents of the cabinets with food are all strewn about. Things are thrown on the floor. It looks like a raccoon went crazy in here, like a family of raccoons from the great outdoors got into this, into here. So he's calling for his parents. He's getting no answer. So he walks around looking for them. And it's a small house. It's a modest little house, not a huge mansion that you'd have to, maybe they're in their study. They're either in the living room or the bedroom. There's one of the two. So he heads down to the bedroom, and he sees them on the beds and says, "Oh, they're sleeping. They look like they're just sleeping on the bed." Yeah. And then he notices blood on the pillows.
Oh, no.
And he says, "What the fuck?" So the covers were pulled up to their necks like they were just having a sleep-in on Christmas Day. They must have had a long night. And you couldn't see what was under there, which when he pulls it back and says, "Mom, Dad," pulls it back, you can see blood, and also you can see that both of their hands and feet have been bound with electrical cords.
Oh, yikes.
As well, and they're very dead in bed here. Pretty rough stuff. From the angle of the shots fired into their heads, it was most likely, they said, the assailant was on the bed between them. So tied them up, hands and ankles, and then facing away from each other, and then got between them and shot them each in the back of the head.
Wow.
That's what he did here.
A weird way to do that.
Yep, they said that it was a .38 that was right pressed up against the skull. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, contact wound 38, which is a 38's a pretty big caliber to get close up like that. That'll definitely do the job. So, how the fuck did they get like this? Shall we?
Oh boy.
Okay, so around 1:30 a.m., Jimmy Glass and Jimmy Wingo are outside, and they were walking through fields and all that, and they finally found. They said at one point they found some kind of business and a house, and no one was home. So, and that was the Brown house. They saw the contracting business and they saw the house. So they said no one's home. They tried to get a back window open and come through the back window. Just as they were doing that, a car turned into the driveway, they said. So that was when Erlene and Newt came home. Mm-hmm. So they said, fuck it. And they went in that barn and kind of stood and hung out for a couple hours and said, well, shit, we can't go in there while they're coming in. So they said the Jimmies watched Mr. and Mrs. Brown get out of the car and go into the house. They went over to the parked car, snuck over there to see if the keys were left in the car.
Yeah.
Make an escape here.
Fuck out of here.
And they weren't, though. They had no keys in the car. So they said, okay, well, there's a carport area with a storeroom in it. So they said, let's see if that's open. Let's go in there and see what the fuck's in there. Anything that's of use to us, basically. They got to get out of their jail clothes. They need money. They need food, whatever. So they're trying to do that. They go check it out. They find a refrigerator full of beer.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, hey, that's what you want when you escape from jail and run 4 miles through Louisiana fields. Yeah. So they take a bunch of beer and run behind a hedgerow and just sit and drink beer like 14-year-olds. So they do that. They decide that they should wait until they think the couple is asleep and then smash in the patio door like real fast. Smash the patio door, run in, bum rush them before they know what the fuck's going on. They'll be still like trying to figure out where they are or what's happening, and we'll be on top of them, and we can rob them. They got to have something in there because they have like a 1981 Lincoln, so like a year-old Lincoln. So like they got a nice car.
Right.
I'm thinking they probably have something in there. So anyway, they're drinking beer, doing that. That's the plan. During this planning and drinking, Jimmy Glass also drinks a bottle of champagne that he found in there as well. Very classy.
Really,
sitting behind the hedgerow.
Yeah.
Just celebrating. Pop. Imagine that.
The noise.
Clinking glasses.
Yeah.
Just big pop and then just clinking glasses to us.
A little bubbly.
Little bubbly. Yes. That is fucking ridiculous. So at that point, Glass apparently cut what he thought was telephone wires, but who the hell knows what they were? I mean, he's a moron, this Glass guy. He's an idiot. He's, he didn't even get to his 20th birthday without being convicted for armed robbery.
Right.
He's an idiot. So
he's out here cutting wire.
He cut some wires, drank some more beer, and then they waited again. So, to see what was going on. The next morning, too, Conan found 8 empty Michelob beer bottles near the barn. He said they weren't there before, and, that didn't, nobody left bottles laying around, so that was probably evidence, obviously.
8 beers?
Yeah, 8 beers and then
That's
some champagne.
Lot.
Yeah, especially to pound if you've been in jail for a year.
Oh, God.
You have no tolerance.
It's lowered for sure.
You drink a few beers, and you're only 20. You drink
Right.
a few beers and some champagne, you're going to be shit-hammered, so... Conan Brown the next day said they were just sitting here drinking and watching us. I don't know why they didn't come to my house. I went out on the porch twice that night to check the weather, and I know they saw me. If it was transportation they wanted, we had all kinds of cars and trucks up there. I guess they figured we don't have enough money for them. What is he? What is he, offended? What, I don't have enough money for you to rob? I don't have enough money for you to tie me up with electrical cords and shoot me in the back of the head? Come on.
I got all the cars and trucks. Jesus.
I got cars and trucks. I'm the guy to rob. I'm the guy. Everybody. Conan Brown, the guy to rob. So vote for Conan Brown. Easiest guy to rob. He said he thinks that, he thought that he was waiting for his parents to go to bed. Maybe he thought there was a better chance with them for some reason.
Well, thing, you don't rob the young and spry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go after the easy target.
I think that's what it is, because I think they saw them getting out of the car. They're not old, but I mean, they're older than them. They might have saw them as somebody they could roll rather easily, probably, and, whatever. I mean, he's not, by the way, Newt's not a small guy. Newt's a big, rugged guy. He's a tough son of a bitch. Like, people don't fuck with
Hitler,
Newt.
James.
That's what I mean. He's a big World War II veteran contracting, kind of guy. Like, he's not a pussy. He's not a pushover at all, this Newt guy. So, not at all. So what these 2 idiot Jimmies do is there's a rock garden right outside the back patio full of large chunks of petrified wood. Oh. So they take a big chunk of petrified wood and throw it through the plate glass door leading into the kitchen, the patio door.
Quiet.
That's plate glass is super quiet when you shatter it with fucking a giant rock. It's really quiet. It doesn't even... It falls and breaks more. It's just the loudest thing there is. So they apparently just break it and bum rush right through it just to get in there real quick. So, and it's a small place, and they it can get to them before they really know what's going on.
Lucky they didn't lose a limb in that process.
No shit. They could have got their throats cut on that plate glass. That shit is dangerous. So the next obstacle to encounter is Sissy.
Sissy's a big fucking dog, isn't she?
Sissy's a big Dalmatian. And very protective of the home. So Sissy apparently starts, obviously hears this and has a problem with it. The dog, by the way, is okay after this, but apparently they knocked the dog out.
Wow.
They hit the dog, I don't know if with a gun or with something, but they hit the dog on the side of the head. The dog had like a lump on its head and had a little blood on it and stuff the next day, and that would be the only way that, somebody wouldn't have got bit, basically, was if they, but the dog was okay. Poor and Sissy, survived.
Little girl.
But Sissy Sissy took one in the head for her trouble there. She got lumped. So, yeah, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of knocking the dog out before.
No.
Have you ever heard of any of our stories? Then they knock the dog out. Never. They either kill the dog or let the dog out or do something, but they don't fucking...
Kill the dog or open the door. That's it.
Yeah. I picture him like holding his little paws behind its back there, like hit him, and guy comes up, pa, you had enough, pal, and hit pop in the stomach, one in the face. It's terrible.
Lucky one, the bastards.
It's the most tragic thing I've ever heard when I see it looking at it that way. This nice Dalmatian.
Dalmatians are, I don't know if you know that, one of the most attacking dogs on earth.
Oh, yeah. They'll bite the shit out of you.
Yeah. And it's mostly because everybody thinks, firemen have them. They're lovable.
Yeah.
Fuck no, they're not. They're
firemen train them. That's the thing.
Right.
When they work for a fire department, they're trained. Those aren't just some fucking dog they picked up and some guy lets it sleep in his yard and then it comes to work. It would bite everybody.
And then Disney found 101 of them that were really nice to make a movie out of it.
There you go.
So everybody thinks they're sweet.
Anything you make a movie of, they're going to be sweet.
It's
After Frasier, everybody wanted a Jack Russell Terrier, and they bought
mean as shit.
And they're mean. They don't listen. They have mind. No, but they're like, these dogs are assholes. But the one on TV fucking stares at Frasier, stares at Kelsey Grammer on command. So that must mean I got to have one
in a very funny way.
Mm-hmm. He's hilarious. Very good writer. So they opened the door, entered the house, and ran. They ran into the house, ran down the hallway to the bedroom where they found Erlene standing on the shoes. She heard it and stood up and was screaming. So right away, she was screaming, and Mr. Brown here, Newt, is lying on the bed still, kind of like, what the fuck's going on here? What are you screaming about? So the Jimmies tell them to lie down face down on the bed. Not what you want to hear. So apparently by that time, Glass told them lie down on the bed. Jimmy Wingo had been, I guess, ransacking the place already and found a shotgun and a rifle already.
Jesus.
It must have been kind of out in the open there.
Made quick work of that find.
Yeah, I would say. Then Glass roots around in the guy's money in his pockets and all sorts of like drawers, dresser drawers and shit like that, and found .38 caliber shells. So then he said, where's the pistol for that goes with this shit? And he said, it's up in the closet. Newt told him, up in the closet, up on top. So he goes in the closet, Glass, and he's feeling around up top. While he's searching for the gun, he slices his thumb open on a saw blade that was up there.
Oh, well done, Newt.
Yeah, he's just reaching around for it. He's got a gun and a saw, like all. What else is dangerous, Erlene? What do you got? A gun, a saw. I'm gonna put some poison with the skull and crossbones on it up there.
You got some mouse traps we can load and put up there.
I feel like just some any kind of weaponry that I might need at some time we should put in there. Maybe like a flaming arrow that I could light quickly and fire at an oncoming enemy.
Is there a bat with some nails in it? Just jam it in the top of the closet.
Let me think now. What would have worked in the big one in WWII? I love Newt, man. Newt's cool. So yeah, they're in there and they're rooting around for his shit. And they, like I said, he cuts himself. And apparently they also found Erlene's purse, and they emptied that out in the living room. And then he looked through other rooms looking for shit. And at some point, they were both in separate rooms, the Jimmies. Yeah. And Jimmy Glass, the idiot 20-year-old, yells out Jimmy Wingo's name and asks him what to do next. Hey, Wingo, what should we do now?
Yeah.
Which is, he's like, he literally goes, don't say my name, stupid.
Yeah.
Like they're arguing like it's a fucking cartoon, dude. How dumb are these two idiots? So Wingo tells him to shut the fuck up. Then they find a bunch of liquor in the kitchen cabinets. They left all the food and stuff on the ground, but they stole all the liquor they could find, and they put it in the back seat of Newt and Erlene's car at that point. So now it gets murky as to who said, well, we got to kill him now. That's the thing. No one's really sure about that. What they do is they tie them up with electrical cords and hands at the wrists and the feet, and they also gag them with T-shirts. So they stuff T-shirts into their mouth as well to gag them. So they're talking about it, and he's like, well, you said my name in there, and they kind of saw our faces. We don't have masks on or anything. We're the two escapees. They saw we have like jail uniforms on and shit. And they're probably going to put those two and two together, I would think, you know? So they end up rooting around a little more and finding about $1,800 in cash.
Wow.
Which in 82 is not bad.
Yeah, he's hanging on to a bunch of change.
Yeah, and if you're going to escape somewhere, you need some cash. So they have guns, liquor, cash, just a whole bunch of shit. They take some clothes, and one of Newt's brothers says that Newt always slept with a loaded gun by his side, and he says, I don't understand why he didn't use it. Which, because he didn't know what was going on yet. That's why there was no.
Maybe he thought if I just give them what they want, they'll leave, and I can be here with my wife.
That's the thing. Yeah. Well, he didn't have a loaded gun by his bed though. They got the rifle and the shotgun from outside the bedroom, and then he had the .38. He had the shells in the drawer and the gun up in the closet. So, I mean, who knows here? When they tied them up with electrical cords, one of the cords they used was from a clock. So they pulled that out, and now we have the time of when this happened frozen at 1:50 a.m. So that's helpful. That's really helpful. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Very nice. So, this is crazy. And then they found other electrical cords just ripping appliances out of the wall and fucking ripping the cords out and doing all that kind of shit. So they ransacked the rest of it. Then they came back. Glass came back into the bedroom, and it doesn't seem disputed that Jimmie Glass is the one who does the shooting. Okay. Apparently, he gets onto the bed on his knees, kneels between the Browns, and without telling anything, warning or anything, puts the gun to the back of Newt Brown's head and shoots him. And obviously it's loud and bloody, and Earlene begins to freak out a little bit here, obviously, and then he turns and shoots her in the back of the head too, and kills them both right there on the spot. And then at one point here, he pulls the covers up to their heads like they're sleeping, sort of thing. And that's it, tucks them in. And that's how it went down. They take off in the 1981 Lincoln, and everyone in town is fucking scared shitless now.
Yeah.
The next day. I mean, there are two escaped murderers on the loose. This is some kind of, this is wild. Like, this is like The Ref has gone completely wrong. Remember that we were talking, the movie The Ref has really gone off the fucking rails here.
If Dennis Leary was an actual murderer.
Yeah, Dennis Leary and Murray have really, they've just slaughtered Kevin Spacey and all the
alcoholic.
children. That whole family was full of assholes, actually. If they were going to kill any family, it would be that family in that movie. But these people didn't seem to deserve any of this, these poor people.
Kid blackmailing his principal at school.
Yeah, he's blackmailing the principal. The brother and sister-in-law are complete dicks. The mother-in-law's horrible. Dennis Leary says, your husband's not dead. He's hiding. Right. And I believed it.
And the mom's fucking around on Kevin.
The whole, they're going to therapy over it. Well, not that that's bad, but the reason why they have to go is because they're cheating on each other. And it's a disaster. So they load up finally the car with everything else they could find, the rest of the liquor, and they take off. Now, they end up having to abandon the car on a county road near Vivian because they got it stuck in high waters. So
in water?
They got it stuck in the water, and they couldn't get it out.
What?
Now, they go...
One of them said, damn, this is a boat.
Jesus, look at this guy. It'll float. No, man, bigger shit than this floats in the ocean. I've seen it.
A Lincoln's a damn boat. Let's take it. Let's try it.
Let's test it out, buddy. So once they get to Wingo's sister's house, this is where they end up after this. They abandon the car, they walk to Wingo's sister's house. At the house, Jimmie Glass begins calling himself the Sundance Kid and Sundance.
Oh, boy.
And won't put his .38 down at all. He holds it with him the whole time. He's spinning it around like it's the Old West. They all sit down at breakfast, and he puts it next to his plate like it's with the silverware. He had knife, fork, .38 lined up in case he needed to, cut his bacon by shooting it.
Like it's a salad fork.
Like it's just an extra salad for. This is my butter knife I keep in case I get a roll going on here.
Spin it. You shot people point blank. You are hardly a marksman, sir.
Yeah, literally touching the barrel to the back of their head.
You're a piece of shit.
That's his own sister, or Wingo's sister will say later on, he ate breakfast and calling himself Sundance the whole time. He was very apparently proud of this here. And now the evidence here, they search all around. One thing they find is a bunch of blood on the top shelf of the closet from slicing yourself on a saw blade.
Yeah.
And that's something. Also, fingerprints on the saw as he moved it aside as well, or also belong to Glass. Right. Plenty of fingerprints from Jimmie Glass all over the fucking place in here. A lot of them for him. Yeah. He liked to touch things, put it that way. I don't know if he didn't think about it. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
They said, quote, a friend of theirs said, Newt and Earlene weren't wealthy, but they were rich and friends. Newt and Earlene were just like you and me. So they weren't real fancy people, but everybody liked them. At their funeral, their son, Gary here, by the way, Gary is the son-in-law, Gary's wife's father, is Judge Charles A. Marvin of the Louisiana Court of Appeal for the Second Circuit based in Shreveport. So if you're going to kill people, not the people to kill. Right. People who are related to a fucking court of appeal judge in your state.
If you get convicted of this, you're going to have to try to get free, and that's the guy you're going to have to go through.
And even if he recuses himself, people know. Yeah, his colleagues know who you are. So, they end up being buried at the Gardens of Memory Cemetery outside Minden. There tons of people here came. This was like more people than live in Dixie Inn showed up at the funeral. Just a massive funeral. They said they had a foot-thick bed of flowers that people throwing the flowers in there, dozens of wreaths, and very much they were very much mourned, put it that way. They said one of the people at the chapel said, quote, "We figure there was more than 1,000 people there."
Wow.
That's a big fucking funeral. They said that it's the biggest funeral they've seen in years. And Conan Brown said, this is Newt's brother, not his son. I'm sorry, Conan Brown. Jesus. He said, "We were taught that having friends is more important than having money." And he said, based on all this, he feels like that we're wealthy people, he said. So these are really down-to-earth people.
Yeah, so far.
The Reverend making a speech here said that this has hit the community hard. It could have been any one of us. Yeah, this is the ultimate like small town murder type shit. Because
it just stumbled into their backyard. That's the only reason they got him.
And you don't expect Christmas Eve going to bed that night. You're not expect. No one's going to break in and kill us on Christmas Eve. How horrible would someone have to be to do that? You know, like Jesus Christ. They said they're generous people. The size of the funeral shows you that. So back at the office, one of the girls that works there says, "This is just a peaceful little community. We didn't even lock the doors to the office until this happened. I used to work late by myself at night sometimes, but a few days ago I was in here by myself at 4:30 in the afternoon, and I had to leave. I just couldn't stay here alone."
Just a feeling.
So, yeah, they're still on the loose too. Who knows? You know, if they're going to come back. It's right next door to the house that this happened. It's like you're on the same property. She said, "I still expect Mr. Brown to walk by. I can't believe he's gone." Now, Gary, the son, said that they're going to keep the company going with his younger brother, Dennis. And he says the only thing they can't figure out why they were killed. Why would they kill them? And Conan Brown says the only thing we can figure out is that the killers were liquored up. But any way you figure it, it just doesn't make any sense. He'd have given them anything they wanted. That's the kind of fella he was. He and his son Gary, too. They're just too good for their own good.
Yeah.
That's a way to put it.
They killed them because they were made. And
they knew who they were. Yeah. They said, shit, we showed up in jail uniforms and let them see us and hear our names. That's probably not smart.
But, really... What do they think? They think they're going to get away with it? Like, they're just going to assume that it was somebody else? It's two criminals just got out of prison.
I wonder who did this. Exactly. And their fingerprints and blood are everywhere.
Idiots.
Fucking morons. And they said, Conan Brown said, quote, "I'm sleeping with a rifle loaded with 16 rounds of ammunition by the bed. If I heard someone out on my porch in the middle of the night, I'm not sure what I'd do."
16 rounds.
I say make sure first, because you have a lot of firepower there, and you probably don't ever need 16 rounds in your home. Either you're a terrible shot. If you're shooting, if someone breaks in and tries to kill you, you should be able to hit them with less than 16 shots in a close proximity. Unless he's expecting like an army or like some sort of battalion to come for him.
16 guys are coming?
the whole jail broke out and they're all coming for you, maybe. That's a lot. It just seems like a lot. But I guess if you're doing it, go all the way. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what he's thinking. So Gary, the son, said he's disturbed by the ifs and the whys left here. He's like, I just don't understand it. He said, I want to know the truth, but I don't think I do. I want to know the truth, even if it's bad, even if it's bloody. I want to know if they came here for a reason or if they just happened on the place. What's worse?
Neither. They're both shitty.
They're both, yeah. But I mean, like, what for? I don't know.
I guess if they came here on
that,
purpose, then we're in danger too.
Yeah, was there a reason? Did he know this guy? Yeah. Did he have some sort of like beef with him? At least that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because the random thing, you're just like, so if they just decided to make a left instead of a right, like they wouldn't have ended up here.
Jesus.
That's much harder to process.
Sure is.
You know, that's a lot. So he also says that he said the rest of the family's very weary. My sister, it nearly killed her. So the family's having a hard time with this. Obviously, the heads of the family here. So wanted posters go up everywhere, obviously, here, all over the place, including the adjacent McDonald's restaurant. I don't think they would go there, I would hope, afterwards. I don't think they're that stupid. So, they said even after they're dead, the Christmas wreath, nobody took it down, so it's still sitting up there.
Oh.
Their bicycle built for two is still sitting out on the porch.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's how nice they had a bicycle built for two that they rode together, Jimmy. He'd come home from building shit and memories of Hitler, and he'd ride a two-seater with his wife. Like these people are fucking. This is sad, man.
I've never known anybody in my life that I'd be willing to share a bicycle with.
No, like I don't trust your riding.
I don't trust you not trying to throw me off it and then giggle.
Yeah, right. How do I know what you're going to do? So they said only, there's a piece of plywood covering the window. Other than that, they're, whatever. The son says they were just good people. That's all. So what they ended up doing is they go to Wingo's sister's house and they say, can we borrow a car? And she's like, no, you can't borrow a car. Are you out of your mind? I'm not giving you a car. And they go, okay. And then they stole her Datsun pickup truck. They just stole it. Her green Datsun pickup truck, King Cab. They steal that.
Anyway.
On Christmas morning.
Yeah.
This is a definite reverse gifting scenario here. You don't get how this works, do you?
You don't steal from people. You give them things.
No shit. So then they pick up a third here, by the way. They go and pick up Jimmy Wingo's girlfriend, Gwen Hill.
Okay.
Who joins the group. Why not? What the fuck? Let's all
now
hang out together. Yeah, everybody needs to go. So, yeah, they pick up him. They pick her up, and here they go. They're off on the run, and now it's just a matter of hundreds and hundreds of tips flooding in. They're seen like fucking Elvis when he died, like here and there and everywhere. There's sightings. Yeah. We're talking everywhere from, Montana to Florida to the area to all over the place. They're seen everywhere, Jimmy. It's fucking crazy. Huge manhunt. They said they're repeatedly spotted in the Arc-La-Tex area, the Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas region. Yeah, Arc-La-Tex. They all have that on everything. Here is I'll show you this if you roll your chair. I'll turn the thing. Look at this. Here's the reward offered. Here they are.
Oh, they all look like shitbags.
Yeah, they look like total scum. Jimmy Wingo and his puffy hair and his mustache.
Oh, Gwen, get it to fucking together, girl.
Come on, Gwen. You don't want to deal with this here. They're offering
this, right?
A $10,000 reward.
Wow.
So not bad here. That's a lot back then, a $10,000 reward. So, and it was raised privately, apparently, from donations of friends.
Very nice.
$10,000. So, yeah, they're looking for Gwen Hill, not for murder, but for, aiding and abetting and accomplishing.
And when you got two guys and a girl together, it makes your party look more suspicious. You stand out more than just two dudes together.
Yeah, or if you broke up into guy and girl and the other guy goes and does his thing, that's a little less suspicious. So it keeps up, though. Law enforcement agencies are searching everywhere for them because they fuck this up. Like this isn't like, oh, there's a suspect on the loose, we have to find him. There's only a suspect on the loose because you let them out of the jail because you're idiots. So any more bodies are on them, and they know that. So that has to be
already.
There's got to be a lot of pressure in that. I've already got blood on my hands from my incompetence.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me. You can't keep people in a jail. They're in a fucking cage, dude. Just don't Why
are you having a heart on Christmas? Stop going out of your way.
I mean, I don't know if that's the procedure or what, but if you got one person and you can't watch the people who are out while you go check on a ruckus, I don't think you should be letting people out.
Nope.
If you had enough people to watch them, go let them fucking call their parents. Great. I don't care. It's probably nice. It's better for everybody if they do that, but not if you can't watch the rest of everything. So there's a lot of talk that they're in southern Arkansas. A lot of that going on here. They're looking all over there. They said that Texas, Oklahoma is even on alert. Everybody's on alert for them. And the sheriff has just got as much egg as you can imagine. He's got like a 6-egg omelet on his face. He's just covered.
He's got a real Denver right there.
Covered. There's pepper sticking out of it and all sorts of shit. He can't figure it out. Chunks of sausage are in there.
Pick an egg out of his collar as he does the press conference.
So 2 residents report spotting the escapees and especially Gwen Hill in Dodge City, Arkansas, which I didn't know there was a Dodge City, Arkansas.
Why is everybody
I've heard of
one?
Dodge City, Kansas, but not Arkansas. Yeah, that's a different one. This is so confusing. Atlanta, Texas, Dodge City, Arkansas. I'm very confused. So
were they caught in Albuquerque, Louisiana?
No shit. They're... Dude, I was going to say a different one, and I'm like, no, there is like 6 of those, so I can't even say that. There's so many of these fucking things. It's so silly. So Gwen Hill is described as medium brown hair, 5'4", 110 pounds, and that she was spotted a couple of times. Apparently, there was hundreds of calls the first couple days, and then after a few days, the calls went down to about 15 a day with tips. Manageable amount. So anyway, they're at the Wingo family house on Christmas Day, like I was telling you there. Wingo's brother-in-law, now this is his sister's husband, Frank, said that Wingo was carrying a shotgun while Glass had a .30-30 rifle and a .38 caliber pistol while he was doing his whole I'm Sundance and all that kind of shit. So they left the house in the truck, and a friend of Jimmy Glass, a guy named Rocky Hall, said that they just showed up at his house, at his apartment in Little Rock. He said he was surprised to see Glass show up a couple days after Christmas, and he said that he ends up facing charges for harboring a criminal later on. This guy, by the way, because he stayed there. This guy says, quote, he told us he was out on bond for armed robbery and wouldn't have to go back for 6 or 9 months. So he was like, yeah, sure, crash if you want. He said that it was unusual that he would be carrying a rifle and a pistol while out on bond. That he thought was odd. But he said that Glass said that when he ran out of money, he could sell the guns. That's why he had them. Okay. So there's that. So he said during his stay there, Glass went to the, quote, Cuts and Curls beauty salon in an attempt to have his hair color changed. He went to the Cuts and Curls. That sounds like it's for dogs.
Yeah.
The Cuts and Curls. Like, you bring your little poodle in there and get it all fluffy.
Ran on over to the boutique to get his hair.
That's amazing. Oh, my God.
What color did they dye it?
Well, he said that earlier, before he went there, his wife, this guy's wife, had tried to dye his hair, but it didn't turn out right. He said, quote, it turned kind of an orangey red and he didn't like it.
He tried to bleach it. He tried to go blonde.
It was like, shit, that didn't work. He said, so he was going to get his hair bleached, but the lady told him that if he did it after he just tried, it would probably fall out.
Yeah, it'd burn his hair out, yeah.
Too much. So he said, shit. God damn.
That is the bummer of having dark hair and trying to dye it. It always turns gold.
Yeah, you can't. It's not going to work, man. Just keep your dark hair. I saw your tips. You had a...
No, the whole fucking thing, James.
You look like you were waiting for a band member of Sugar Ray to die so you could fucking audition for it, is what you look like.
Fingers crossed it's the drummer.
Yeah, well, that's what it turned out. That's the funny part. Is you're like, you wouldn't even know the difference.
Nobody would know.
They wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even go, what happened to the drummer? They go, he grew kind of more of a beard, I guess. That's all they would say. That was disturbing.
The whole fucking thing.
That is not good, Jimmy.
No.
Is that what happened to your head?
It's possible. No, this is just genetics.
Oh, this is okay. I didn't mean to sound like it was like mute. Like, is that what happened to your head, man? Like it's melting off of your skull. That's not what I meant.
No, if dye made it bald just in the back and then
in the male pattern shit. Areas. Yeah. That's what happened to Bruce Willis then, I guess, too.
Hair dyeing son
in
of a
the
bitch.
80s. Yeah, when he had that back there. So anyway, he's trying to do all this. This is all going on a couple days after Christmas. They're still on the loose. New Year's Day comes out. They celebrate the New Year free. From January 1st through the 4th, police basically pursue a shitload of dead-end leads that don't go anywhere, and they can't find them at all. Dodge City, Arkansas, people freaked out when they heard that they were there, possibly. And somebody in Dodge City ran into them here. Jolly's Grocery, where they were sighted on a Tuesday. A loaded shotgun was in open view at the cash register, so they kind of knew probably that wasn't the place to go, I guess, and rob anything. So just up the road there, they went to a different grocery store, and all the customers were saying that they all have their guns ready and waiting for them. So this is just a town full of everybody holding shotguns, waiting. Anyone who walks through the door, they're like, "Oh, identify yourself."
Looking for soft avocados with a shotgun leaning against the stand.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Just strolling. One of those baskets. You know, the 10 items or less baskets in one hand and a fucking shotty in the other. Strolling along. Oh, hi, Margaret. Waving.
Waving with the shotgun.
Yeah, hi.
Just lifting it up. There you are.
So they weren't taking any chances. Mrs. Earlene Christian, everyone down here is named Earlene, for Christ's sake. Mrs. Earlene Christian was scared when she walked into the grocery store. She said her home is just isn't far up the road, but she was refusing to go alone, and so she went back home and said she was waiting for her husband to come. The night before, there's a reason, because the night before they were approached by a girl who was traveling with two guys who fit their description of Wingo and Glass.
Right.
It was about 5:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, and someone knocked on their door, and it was a girl identifying herself as Margaret Hicks's daughter, and said, "Could me and my boyfriend fill a bottle with butane? Do you have any extra butane?" And
is that what happens in these small people? Got
any butane
laying around?
Hi, I'm Margaret Hicks's daughter. Do you have any butane? What a weird fucking, huh?
Say again.
Imagine that. You're what? Who's what now? And what do you need?
Yeah, fill this jug. I want to transfer whatever butane comes into this.
Can you just? I know it's a gas, but I mean,
however they bottle that shit, can you just rebottle it for me into this?
Can you just break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar just
right
to drop
in this water bottle?
Just a bit. So this woman said, Mrs. Christian said that when she left, that when her husband left the room to look for some butane, because they're nice people, she said they have some, yeah. She peered out the window and realized the girl was not Mrs. Hicks's daughter, because she knows Mrs. Hicks's daughter. She goes, "That's not her daughter." And when she told her husband, he yelled through the door. She told her husband, he yelled through the door that the girl would have to come back for the butane in the morning. She said, "Well, you come back in the morning for the butane," so they're not letting her in.
They got to repackage it. Call your mom. Tell her to come by.
So with the girl, I guess they said, jump back into the pickup truck, which was a green Datsun King Cab, and, quote, they tore out, she said. So tore on out of there. They showed photographs of the suspects to her house, and she identified the girl as Gwen Hill and the man in the truck as Jimmy Wingo. So, but there's no Jimmy Glass at this point.
Oh?
He is gone. So she said that her and her husband didn't sleep all that night, and they said they were upset all day, and she doesn't know what to do because the same thing could have happened to them. She's another one, Mrs. Helen Hicks. She said that that they came into the store, Wingo and Hill, between 4 and 5 p.m., but she didn't recognize them until she got the paper the next morning and saw their pictures and went, "Holy shit, that's the people that were in here." She said they weren't in the store. They were only in the store for about 5 minutes, and they left driving a green Datsun pickup. So apparently they made another trip to the store, but this time they went to a different store, Jolly's, where Mrs. Troy Jolly said she and her husband were gone at the time, but another employee identified Glass as one of the men who came into the store to get change for a soda out of the machine. So that's what happened. And Wingo stood outside at that time. The guy identified him. So January 5th, 1983 in Atlanta, Texas.
Okay.
I wish I had made that up. Jimmie, Wingo, and Gwen are there, and they have the green pickup truck. They get that, and apparently they went all over Arkansas, from what I understand,
right.
And then ended up in Atlanta, Texas, where they stayed in a motel room, and there Gwen stayed in a motel room, and then that's when Glass borrowed the car to go to his friend's house in Little Rock that we talked about,
yep.
And then he drove back there to them with the car. It's fucking ridiculous. So anyway, at some point, the police are on to Wingo and Gwen, and they end up chasing them through the woods of East Texas.
On foot?
On foot.
Wow.
So Gwen and Wingo are being tracked by bloodhounds, and they're tracked into a thicket off the Texas Highway 43 south of Atlanta. They crawled in there and covered themselves with pine straw and brush. So they couldn't be seen.
Bury yourself, girl.
I said, come on, put more pine straw. The dogs can't smell through the pine straw. I don't think they know how dogs work, probably.
No, they don't.
So they had been spotted crossing a road, and so they chased them into the woods, and then the dogs found them lying fucking there.
Go into the earth.
Just bury it, return to the earth. And they just try to osmosis, Gwen, let's do it. So they found one of the main dog here, Joe, a German Shepherd, worked with a female bloodhound named Camilla, and they were searching for them. The chase ended after a 10-mile hunt when Camilla and Joe tracked them into a dense undergrowth near a small creek. They gave up without resistance at that point because, they're fucking dogs. They don't want to get bit. They were in the bushes there. This dog was also, Joe was instrumental in the September 81 capture of Danny Goodson, later convicted of raping a Highland woman.
No shit.
This dog's catching schmucks all over the place, catching shitbags left and right. Apparently, yeah, they had the guy volunteered with his dog here, the handler, to work with Shreveport in investigating a series of Highland rapes there. And so anyway, they got him here. Wingo's girlfriend here, arrested along with him, waives extradition, and she's transferred to the Spring Hill City Jail about 4:30 p.m. She is charged with aiding and abetting a felon, and with assisting an escape and harboring a known fugitive as well.
Yeah, she's in
obviously. Yeah, the charges are all misdemeanors. They carry a maximum of 1 year in jail and a $2,000 fine. So
really?
Not that bad, actually. Yeah, not terrible. They said from her hometown, the sheriff there said she lives here in the vehicle the Datsun pickup belonged to those relatives, which isn't true. That was the sister of one of the guys, not her.
Sister of Glass, right?
Sister of Wingo.
Okay.
Deborah Wingo, I think's her pickup. He and they said that Gwen and Jimmie Wingo have a kid together, for Christ's sake.
Wow.
They have a fucking kid together, these two. I don't know where the kid is while they're running around as fugitives, but they have a history. That's why he went and picked her up. This isn't like, that's my girlfriend, whatever. These two are been together a long time here. So apparently they were everybody they had like watching the house. They were waiting for them to come back and retrieve the child. They said, the relatives, they're like, they just left the kid here and said they'll be back eventually. And when then they didn't return, and then they heard that they got arrested. So they were like, I guess they're not coming back for the kid. Gwen ends up getting out and taking care of the kid here, but Wingo is up for double murder, so not quite there. They said that they'd been camping in the woods and moving their campsite daily to avoid arrest. They never took shelter in a building despite the cold, rainy weather also.
Wow,
They've just been camping.
Holding up out in the woods.
In the woods in the winter, in the rain. Wow. It's cold in North Texas in the winter. It's fucking cold there. Now, a friend of his, that mechanic guy, the guy he knew from when he was a mechanic, he said that Wingo's, quote, an awfully good mechanic and had to be an awfully good outdoorsman to survive in the woods while getting away from those cops. He is. Yeah, he'd have to be. Now, he searched, and when they search him, they find a pair of gloves in his possession, which matched the fabric print made by a glove on a ransacked dresser drawer on the home. And he made this is great, when they talked to him, they told him, listen, we have fingerprints And they said, "You don't have," he said this to the cops, quote, "You don't have my fingerprints. I always wear gloves when I commit a crime." That's what he said. This fucking guy said, "I always wear gloves when I commit a crime." That's where we are right here. This is a former police officer, by the way. This is fucking wild.
Dummy.
And a fiber found on his pants, or on the pants left by him at the Whittington's home, which was another people they stayed at, matched the fiber of a blanket on the Browns' bed where the bodies were found as well. So there's that. That's amazing, though. He said, the cop said, he told us we'd never find any evidence at the scene of a crime he'd been at because he'd been a police officer and he knows to wear gloves when he commits his crimes. Doesn't know not to tell you.
Yeah.
That he commits the crimes, though. Now, 10 hours later, after they catch these two fucking morons, on January 6, 1983, in San Diego, California.
Stop this.
At the San Diego International Airport, Jimmie Glass is arrested.
Where the fuck was he going? He was going to get out of town?
He took a bus all the way to Ventura Beach, and then from there he went to San Diego, where he went to the fucking airport. Yeah, he was going to go fly somewhere. He was going to try to get out. Back then, you could use a fake name on a plane ticket, but apparently he got recognized because it's like a nationwide manhunt by now.
Probably some flyers there.
Probably a couple of flyers. Yeah, the FBI's got to be involved by now doing all this inner fucking state bullshit here. So anyway, they're both arrested for first-degree murder, so that's good. Apparently, when they got Glass, the deputy asked him 3 times, quote, "Why'd y'all have to kill them?" By the way, that is from a guy named Buster Flowers. That's the detective. Buster Flowers. He said the first 2 times he asked him, Glass would not say anything. He just stared at the floor. And the third time he said, quote, "Wingo made me kill them."
Oh.
That's what he said then. Wingo made me kill them. Now, Wingo's got a story as well. He said, listen, we split up after we escaped from jail. We weren't together. Wingo says that Glass wanted to steal a car, and Wingo said, quote, "I didn't want any part of that. I mean, shit, I'm already a felon. I can't be stealing cars." And he said it was a cold night, and it was rainy, and Wingo, he said he was trying to hitch a ride, and as he's trying to hitch a ride, here comes Glass driving up in a Lincoln Continental. Look at me.
This is fortuitous.
Wingo says, quote, "He laughed and asked me about wanting a ride." So he said, of course. So he said, get on there. Later on, though, we'll have a fingerprint that shows that Wingo was the one driving the Continental, not Glass. His prints are on the wheel and on all of the mirrors and everything you adjust when you're driving. Right. Yeah, the driver's seat where you pull it up with a handle. Everything.
And meanwhile,
like
he said he truly believes he was going to get away with it with that story because he doesn't think he left anything behind.
Because he's such a genius, a criminal genius who always wears gloves and tells you that. So. Now, before they separated for good, Wingo said that Glass gave him a shotgun, and he said that he didn't know about the murder until he saw it on television. He said, he just gave me a shotgun, and I said, I went on my merry way. He said, I was at a motel. Let's be realistic here. Yeah. I was at not even a motel, a motel. Yeah. That's a really
I was at a resort down there in fucking Atlanta.
It's not even a motel, it's a motel. A motel in Atlanta, Texas.
Right.
And he said, I didn't even know about the killings until I was in a motel in Atlanta, Texas, and a newscast described him and I as suspects. I was shocked. I was appalled. Frankly, I was embarrassed about the whole thing. And
I would never.
Said, this is going to ruin my reputation. Yeah. This is ridiculous. I'm running for office again next year. He said, then Wingo said, I can't say for sure that Glass did it, but I know I didn't. So he's like, I wasn't with him, so it could have been anything. He said that he figured the shotgun might have been the murder weapon, so he buried it in the woods. Doesn't know where it is, just buried it in the woods. And so they're calling the evidence against Wingo, his lawyer, is saying it's highly circumstantial and, not really linking him much. The only evidence linking him to the scene is a fiber that an expert said could have come from a blanket inside the Browns' house. The fiber could have been transferred to Wingo's clothing from Glass, too, if they're in the same car. So The argument here is, Wingo, there's not a lot of evidence. His blood and fingerprints aren't all over the fucking house.
Excellent point.
They're only in the car, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a totally different scene. So Wingo said that he was hiding with Glass in a storage room at the home, but then he split after that because he learned that Glass was going to burglarize the place. He said, I took the ride. That's where we went. We're in the thing. We're drinking beers. And then he said, I'm going to bust into this place. And he's like, oh, I'm taking off, man.
Take it easy. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Jesus, take it easy. I'm just in for burglary. Right. You want to burgle things. This is wrong. So I'm trying to have it's Christmas Eve, man. Just trying to get down and party.
Trying to get a buzz over here.
So they said that a fiber found on his jeans, like we said, just matches the blanket. That's all they got. One of the cops here, this is Buster Flowers. He said that when he went to San Diego to pick up Glass, he told Glass that there was charges and evidence against him, and he also told him that Wingo said, "Hey, listen, he's telling us it's all you." He's saying that, he took off and you went in the house and he didn't want any part of it. And Wingo then told them that he said that Wingo told them that Glass made them, he even said it was your idea to break out of jail.
Yeah.
So Wingo told us, he said, it's your idea to break out of jail, your idea to burglarize the place. He wasn't around, but it must have been your idea to kill them because you were the one who did it. That's what he's telling us. He said that he left the house and started hitchhiking, and Wingo told the police that, you showed up and you had guns and all this stuff. And Glass said that was a lie and that Wingo drove the car off. So he's an idiot and he fucking admits to a lot of shit there. So Newt's 73-year-old brother, Edgar Brown.
Oh, no.
Edgar here. Listen to this. This is right from a newspaper talking about Edgar. Quote, while talking about the arrest of Wingo and Glass, Brown, wearing tough skins overalls, a Dayton Tires cap, and thick glasses, could not stop harshly criticizing Sheriff Ross McCahan and his department.
Oh, you got a good old boy letting you have
this
it.
Guy is hilarious. Edgar Brown celebrated the arrest of Wingo and Glass with a cup of coffee at Hamburger Happiness, a local cafe. This guy is hilarious. Quote, the craggy 73-year-old, craggy, right in the paper, doesn't even try to hide the rage he feels from the murder of his younger brother and sister-in-law. His friends Earl and Travis Gray didn't try to balance the conversation. They are angry. Angry at the sheriff's department, angry at the legal system, angry at fate, which took the couple from them, but left no reason. Wow, Brown says, quote, they say they broke out, but when the key is turned, they didn't really break out, did they?
Yeah, they didn't break out anything.
They walked out. They went down an elevator and strolled out like they weren't paying a parking ticket in the fucking courthouse. He said later that morning, the sheriff said, quote, there's no question about how it happened. I haven't tried to dodge that issue at all. The jailer made a human error. Yeah. I would say. And he said, this is the sheriff. I'm in charge, and I'm the one who will naturally take the blame. He said it was a mistake to let the men out to make phone calls, and it was a tragedy that they escaped, obviously. And Brown, what do you think Brown thinks about that, the brother? Think he's happy with that?
I can't wait
think that's
to
good
hear.
Enough? It's good enough. Good job. Thumbs
Thank
up.
you. Thanks for acknowledging it.
He's talking, they said, quote, as Brown talked Thursday morning, he gazed across US 80 to a house where residents once kept pet lions. That's crazy. And he said, quote, that's what I'd like to do with those boys. Take them over there and feed them to those lions. Jesus. He wants to feed them to the lions. That's a different
Why does your neighbor have lions? Stop this.
Why is there lions? Yeah, this isn't. No, we're not there. I was going to say, this isn't Utah where that one guy had a lion that we know of. I don't know what's going on here.
Why does everybody know?
Yeah, I'm going to go feed them to those lions. Are they still there, even though the people aren't? Are they free now? That's dangerous. So the sheriff is the butt of all the jokes, and the friend Travis Gray said, quote, hell, if they'd stayed in Webster Parish, they'd have never caught them. Yeah. So we're lucky they left. That's the only way they got caught. Competent police officers went after him. He said, quote, I don't think they ought to have a damn trial. He gestured toward a telephone pole outside. They ought to take them to that pole and hang them.
Oh, string them up.
Jesus. String them up. Yeah, it's crazy. So friends here, one of the friends, a guy named J.C. Smith, worked with Newt Brown for 10 years. He said that he's very angry as well, and he said the cops stink, and this just shows. That's what he said. They stink at one point, and he said this just magnifies all the other fuck ups they've had over the years with these fucking cops. Because they always were shitty, but now it's obvious. He said, this is from the article, quote, they rekindled old bitter memories of times when the sheriff's department seemed slow in coming to a cafe to kick out a drunk or to a local person's home to take care of a mean dog. For them, the sheriff's department shares the blame for the murders. There's no reason why these people should be dead, he says.
Absolutely
I'll tell you something else. I keep looking up there to see Arlene. She was just like a little bug, always in fast motion. So there you go. They're pissed at the cops. They're mad they miss Arlene. So what are the cops' excuses for this?
What is it?
You can only say, I'll take responsibility so much. And a district attorney here, he acknowledged that fingers have been pointed at the sheriff department. So I get it. Fingers have been pointed. He said, I get that that department's kind of, on the hot seat. He said, though, he was assured that safeguards will be set up in the parish jail, but warned there's always a way for prisoners to escape if you plug in a little human error. That's their talking point, human error, human error.
You can't say that.
It can happen to anybody. He said the two officers in charge of the jail, there was two officers there, by the way. God. Jesus. He said that he called them, quote, excellent officers.
Nope.
Okay.
You
no
can't
matter
say
what, you can't drive into a wall and go, excellent driver, the guy is. You can't say the opposite of what they've just proven and then go, I've said that, so that means it's true because it's so opposite of what you see with your eyes, so that must mean you believe it. That's what people do when they lie like this, like public figures like this. See that thing you're looking at? That's not actually that thing. It's actually the opposite of that thing. That's why you see the opposite, because you don't see it. I do. It's fucking insane.
It's in your head.
It's in your head.
You can't say that after guys let fugitives out and people are dead. You're not a good officer anymore.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's insanity. One of the townspeople said the whole community is in anguish over the deaths of the Browns. It wouldn't have mattered even if they had been terrible people. It would still have been tragic. But these were good people. Even if they sucked, I mean, you can't just kill them. Yeah. And he said, I don't understand why they had to kill them. I just can't understand. That's what everybody says. So the sheriff, he said that he was happy they were caught when they were caught, obviously, because any more bodies are on him. He was told, and he said, quote, well, good. That's what he said. And he said, after that, he said, I'm walking on air, because they were caught. He said, quote, I've got to be ready. We've concentrated in this area for 3 days and nights, and because of the positive sightings, we had reason to believe that they were here, even though they were 2,000 miles away, because you don't pay attention. This guy said he spent, quote, this is the sheriff, every waking minute since Christmas on this case, except for the 4 hours a night I slept sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's it. He says that, he's ready. Now they're back in the county jail, and, it's going to be okay. They're going to add all the first-degree murder, aggravated burglary, armed robbery, auto theft. Wow. Add it all up, and he says that, quote, it could be, he said it's going to be perfectly fine. This time we'll keep him in jail, I promise. So April 83 is Jimmie Glass's trial. It's moved to Lafayette due to publicity because this area, I mean, people would kill them. They'd rip them limb from limb walking into the courtroom.
They'd Lee Harvey them on the way in, for sure.
Absolutely. So Glass's lawyer apparently has to recuse himself. He says, quote, I'm close friends with two of the brothers of the deceased. So can't do that. Two of Newt's brothers he's close with. He said it would hamper my ability to give the vigorous defense of a man charged with the murder would need. Because these are death penalty cases, by the way. These are murder in the course of robberies in Louisiana. Jimmie Glass gets a psychiatrist to examine him because he's talking about pleading guilty by or not guilty by reason of insanity. He's trying to figure out how to do this here. So a guy, Dr. Turner, he examines him and he conducts a psychiatric interview with him. He questions him about intellectual functioning, past history, all that kind of sort of the normal shit here. Yeah. And he diagnoses him with an antisocial personality disorder, but he says that he's not suffering from any type of mental disease or defect, which would have prevented him from knowing the difference between right and wrong. He's just a dick.
Yeah, he's
just kind
the
of
worst.
He's just kind of an asshole, and that's all there is to it. Evidence in the case, there's ballistics evidence of the, guns that he had fingerprints on, or the guns that fucking shot these people, fingerprints in the house, blood stains. He's had items belonging to the Browns in his possession.
Can't do that.
Glass they got it all. He says he wants to change his plea from innocent to innocent by reason of insanity. He thinks that's going to work better. So, my God, the prosecutor.
That's a reach.
That's a big reach, I would say. Prosecutor obviously tells the jury that he thinks he's the fucking Sundance Kid over here. He's walking around with his gun, twirling it and everything, and you got to show him what the fuck's up. And they talk about how they got there, followed the railroad tracks, knelt down, blew their brains out. He says, the prosecutor, can you imagine how Mr. Brown felt as the explosion sends a bullet singeing through his brain? And then imagine Mrs. Brown next to him as she first felt the barrel of the gun next to her head and the explosion and the death. Jesus Christ, they're getting deep here. Yeah. So they said the gun had been placed physically on the backs of their heads when they were shot. They testified all the guns he had around the house, and one of them was a .38 that matches up. Like we said, the criminologists come in, fingerprints, blood matching, fingerprints to everybody on everything for Glass. Glass is really on the scene. The seriologist testified the blood in the closet came from Glass. There's a lot here. Now, the defense opening, they have a whole different thing here. They said that they never contended that Glass didn't kill the Browns. That's their defense. We're not going to say he didn't do it, right, but we're going to say this. He was forced to do it. Forced.
Yeah.
He said after he called out Wingo's name during the robbery, Wingo made him shoot them, put a shotgun to his head and said, you do it right now or else I'm going to blow your brains out. Yeah. That's what he said. He said that Glass yelled, Wingo, let's get out of here. And because of that, they heard his name. They had to be killed. That's it right there. Not like they couldn't have put two and two together who they were without the name.
It was going to, they were going to figure it out here in a couple hours.
No shit. Now, Glass said he told Wingo, man, you've got to be crazy. Let's don't do this. Let's don't do this. And they said that Wingo told Glass, quote, either two people would be left dead or three. You pick, motherfucker. You're going to be the third.
On you. Yeah.
Yep. If you don't kill them, I'll splatter your brains all over this room.
Wow.
Very colorful. He said that he acted only in fear for his life and was genuinely sorry for what had occurred. He had to do it. It was him or them. I mean, that's the way it was. Quote, he said it would have been better if he had let Jimmy Wingo kill him. Jimmy Glass is a victim here, too. They actually said in court, Jimmy Glass is a victim here, too. Imagine that if you're the juror.
He broke out of jail, went with the guy.
You wouldn't be able to wait to convict this fucking guy if he said that they tried to say he's a victim here.
This is amazing. I guess, as a defense attorney, this is your job. This is why you pass the bar.
You have to do it. Yeah, you have to.
Crazy shit like this.
You have to do it and kind of look like, you buying any of this? Like,
anybody?
This is wild what I'm saying right now. Jimmy Glass testifies. He testifies that Wingo poked him in the back of the head with the shotgun barrel. Gave him like a wow. And he told him that he was going to kill him or, like I said, splatter the brains all over the place. He said that Wingo kept the shotgun at his neck or back the whole time he did it. So, I mean, he had no choice. He couldn't even have turned around and used it on Wingo because the gun was to the back of his head the whole time. He couldn't even have saved these two people if he wanted to, which he obviously did.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly. Yeah. He said he put his knee on the foot of the bed, more on the man's side, bent over, closed his eyes, and pulled the trigger. Couldn't even watch. He said as the woman raised her head and started to scream, he pointed the gun, closed his eyes, and pulled the trigger again. And he said that before leaving the room, he pulled the covers up to their heads because he felt bad. Right. Wanted to cover them up there. Oh, you don't want them to get chilly. They're chilly. Get them an Afghan. So He testifies that while Wingo was tying up the Browns, he inadvertently said his name. He gives the whole testimony, and that was when the brain and all that shit comes. So the verdict comes in here, and first-degree murder is the charge, and they find Glass guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, besides the fact that he says he's mentally ill and was completely forced into it. So shocking that all of his physical evidence and everything, they would override that over his bullshit story.
Over a claim.
He's never... What has he done truthful in his life so far? He's a
so
fucking...
far, nothing.
Ne'er-do-well dipshit. He's in for armed robbery at 19. So sentencing comes around, and there's people who testify on his behalf, his family.
Sure.
Please save him. His mother comes in. His mother testifies that he's been subjected to a, quote, very stressful childhood. He's been working on Wall Street since he was 13. It's been very stressful. He's ready to retire. It's just he's got an ulcer.
Month end at the car dealership. The man's got to. He's got to move them. He's got to move Mazdas, and they're not.
The man's got a quota. You know, Kia doesn't take any prisoners. Let's just say that. You got to fucking hit your quota. You're out. That's it. Very stressful childhood. So taking that into account, and obviously the fact that he's probably innocent based on his own, what he said. Obviously, it's silly. The jury has the option of life or death here, and they choose you, sir, may fuck off. Death in the electric chair.
Oh, my.
Death in the electric chair for him. And he is sent to death row at Angola, which is a 6x9 cell.
Dear Lord, he went to where's Angola at?
In Louisiana.
Is that in Louisiana?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He goes to Louisiana, goes to Angola, where he's in Louisiana, goes to Angola, and he's in a 6x9 cell to await electrocution, which
Holy
is,
shit.
That's deep. So then it comes up September 1983. What Gwen is up to here. Gwen, by the way, is being told that she's got to testify. She testified against Glass. She is living with Wingo's sister in Spring Hill and their child. So Jimmie Wingo's trial comes around. During the jury selection process, several jurors were asked to be excused for a bunch of reasons, okay, as they always are. My favorite, a man asked to be excused because he's a chain smoker and you're not allowed to smoke in the courtroom. And he said, if I can't smoke, you don't want me. Not doing it. And the judge said, no, you can't do that. You have to do it if we tell you to. The judge is a retired Lake Charles judge appointed to preside over the trial for some reason. They got a retired judge in there. And he also denied, with an apology, the request of a woman who said she couldn't serve on the jury because she needed to sew a dress for her granddaughter who's going to be in a wedding. And they were like, you can't do that. Sorry. So the case against Wingo, not so cut and dried. That's the problem here. A little more dicey. They have no physical evidence. There's no fingerprints to place him in the house at all. Right. There's no physical evidence besides that one fiber that could easily be explained by being in the same car with the other guy. There's nothing else here that ties him to it.
But they've got to go through with it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he was definitely there and all that kind of shit. And to me, the thing that makes the most sense is you called his name. You both went, oh, fuck. And now you decided that you had to kill him. I mean, that's... And also we have to figure out how drunk they were is another problem. So the district attorney here, he prosecuted both of them, by the way, separately. He says, and he said this in the Glass trial as well, and in this trial, he says that Wingo is the dominant partner in the slayings.
You bet. Yeah.
He says because he's older, he's
30.
He's bigger too. He's 6'1". He's 200 pounds. He's not, he's not a kid. He was a cop. I know what I'm doing. Follow me.
Right.
That sort of shit. He's good. He's good with weapons. He's the guy. He said, fingerprint evidence showed that he was driving. They both, they're talking about all this shit. Will Glass testify against him is the big deal now. Is he going to testify against him from death row? They do subpoena him, but he doesn't have to testify, obviously. Okay. So they said the bulk of the state's case hangs on the testimony of Jimmie Glass. He's got nothing to lose, too. It's very easy for the defense to go, well, he's sitting on death row. Maybe he wants company. What the fuck do we listen to him for? So they said he's subpoenaed and will be transported from death row to Lafayette for the trial, but whether he will testify, we don't know, because he doesn't have to. He can just take the fifth or tell him to fuck. What are you going to do? Put me in contempt? I'm on death row. Fuck your mother. I don't care.
You can't do anything to me.
You can do nothing to me. That would kill me worse than the electric chair? What other fucking medieval torture device are you going to come up with?
You're literally torturing me to death. I think I'm fine.
So the attorney for Glass said that he'll advise his client. He said it's Glass's decision. There's no way they can make him do it because he can refuse to testify and they can only hold him in contempt. Exactly what we said. It goes against the convict code to testify against a co-defendant. So if he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, he's not going to do that. Maybe. He said he will have something to say, though, is what his lawyer says. So Glass ultimately decides not to testify. He just says he doesn't want to do it. He says that he admitted killing the couple, but he did it under, he only did it because of Wingo, but he refused to testify to that because he said, quote, during my trial, I got up on the stand and I told my story and the district attorney called me a liar. Then they turn around and expect me to help convict Wingo and send him to death row with the exact same story. Fuck you. Yep. Which is the most...
Got a great point.
The least stupid thing these two have ever done in their lives, either one of them. That's a great point. So my story was bullshit when I said it, but when it can fuck somebody else, now it's true.
Now all of a sudden it holds weight.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with it. Well, let's go back to my trial, and you can believe me there then. So Gwen is Jesus Christ. She's being accused of lying in order to protect herself. She testified that she accompanied Wingo and Glass when they left Wingo's sister's home. She said she didn't know Wingo was going to escape, and she was shocked to see them at the house. She said she didn't learn of the murders until she and Wingo checked into a motel in Atlanta, Texas, and she heard about it on the 10 p.m. news, and they both act shocked about it. He acted like he didn't know. The defense attorney, Glenn Armstrong, asked if she had been told she would be helped if she testified against Glass, and she isn't charged with anything. They dismissed all the charges against her, so it kind of seems like, maybe it wasn't set out right, but it was definitely presumed. Her cooperation, she was told by a sheriff that her cooperation would help with the charges she faces in Texas for harboring fugitive as well. She has been staying, they put it, quote, Hill has been staying at the Webster Parish Jail for the past 3 months as a material witness. Staying. Like she's like
to leave?
They got her in a nice efficiency suite. It's got a fridge and a little stove, and it's nice. It's not too big. It's easy to keep clean.
You can bring your commissary there and cook if you need.
It's like a residence inn, basically. They got her in. I feel like that's it's in my head. So she said she was telling the truth during her testimony, and she's going to be the main fucking witness against him here. Now, the theory that they're putting forth is the exact opposite theory that the exact same DA put forth in the other death penalty case. He said Wingo's the dominant figure in the twosome. Nothing that was done that night without his approval and participation. He says he's a former policeman, a large man. He initiated the jailbreak because he'd been denied a visit from Gwen Hill when his sister's husband failed to bring Hill from Vivian to Minden on the previous day. Jimmie Glass was a small man, only 20 years old. They said Wingo's participation in the attack in the Brown bedroom is quite clear. Newton Brown was a large, active man, 55 years old, with a pistol in his closet. Yeah. So someone had to come in and take charge of that situation, and they're saying it isn't this fucking guy over here.
A 20-year-old, 5'6", was he?
5'8", 145-pound guy. He said it's the guy who used to be a cop who knows how to yell.
We're not
shit
imposing.
Like that. Yeah. They said a very protective Dalmatian dog was in the bedroom. Brown's body had wounds on his elbow and abrasions on his knuckles. So they never mentioned it, but there was a fight that took place here.
Yeah.
There was a fucking fight, and he fought back. Brown he's got abrasions on his knuckles, which means he gave some too. Yeah. To subdue him and ward off the dog, they said that and tie the victims was way more than just Glass on his own could have accomplished. That's a load of shit that Wingo said he never went in the house. This guy couldn't have done all that way. I mean, if he's got tying them up, then the dog's going to bite him and vice versa. It's not going to work. Well, they wouldn't bite him, but they'd probably shoot him. So They said after the murders, Wingo remained the dominant figure. He drove the brown car to Vivian, not to Glass's desired destination. He arrived at his sister's home, announcing he was going to kill Frank Whittington and had to be dissuaded by Gwen Hill. He was going to kill his sister's boyfriend, but decided against it. But Gwen Hill was like, we've had enough bloodshed. So he left his sister's house saying his last words were that he would not be taken alive. Bye. Not going to be taken alive. See you later. Bye. Bye, kids. Not going to be taken alive.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Thanks so much for dinner. No, it was delicious. No, stop. It was delicious. It wasn't overcooked at all. Thank you. Not going to be taken alive. Have a good one, everybody. Good night. You out of your fucking, this is amazing. These two are fucking dipshits.
Can I borrow your car? No, I'm not going to be taken alive.
No, not going to be taken alive. See ya.
Take your car, and I'm not going to be taken alive.
You understand? Did you hear me? Not going to be taken alive, which means I'm doing whatever I want. Kill me if you want to stop me. So the verdict comes in for first-degree murder. His story is never even in the house. I took off. My fingerprints aren't there. No physical evidence. Yeah. It's all the other guy. The jury says, I don't think so. Guilty of first-degree murder.
Great.
Don't care. Sentencing comes around. Wingo here, Jimmie Wingo, he begs for his life. He pleads for his life. He gets on the stand, denying that he killed the Browns, denying that he forced Glass to kill them. He said he has no knowledge that the Browns had no knowledge they would be killed, had no intention of killing them. They asked why he wanted to live, and he said, I want to live because my family's been through enough. During the cross-examination, he admitted he committed at least 2 of the burglaries for which he'd been arrested before the escape. So he's like, yeah, sure, I was a bad guy. I'm not perfect. The guy also introduced photographs of one house that had been burglarized. The photos show the house ransacked, dishes broken, drawers dumped out, much the way the Browns. It looked like an exact replica of the Browns' house. So this is what you do when you break in. Yeah, that's his MO. That's his whole little pattern. They said that Wingo claimed he was nonviolent on the stand there, but then they said that that's funny because you have threatened fights with deputies on 2 different occasions since you've been in court. You've threatened fucking, now, like while you're in the holding cell, you've threatened fights with 2 different deputies. That doesn't sound very nonviolent. They also got in parts of his prior statements to police where he said that he knew not to leave prints and that he always wears gloves, and that he said, quote, he didn't like anyone who has more than I do. It was another quote he put. That's what he didn't like. So Wingo said he's got 2 young sons. One of them, 9-year-old Jason, pled for his father's life in front of the jury. He had his 9-year-old come in there and say, quote, I don't want my daddy to die. Jesus, trying to twist the heartstrings there. Pluck them. 2 character witnesses for Wingo were Oil City elected officials. Mayor Charles Dickey said he knew. Imagine you're the mayor and you're going to get up on stand and go, no, he's a good guy.
Chuck Dick is going to do this?
Chuck Dick is going to do this shit. He says he'd known Wingo all his life and hired him as a police officer at the time, and the police chief said that Wingo had run against him in the 76 election, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I kicked his ass. I can throw him a bone. Both officials said they knew Wingo worked for them because he had put in 18 months of public service as a requirement for military amnesty. So that's what I don't know what the deal. I don't know what they. I guess to out of the draft back then, because you could still be drafted in Vietnam up to like 74. So both said they consider Wingo a non-violent person. These are upstanding police officers
in their experience, right?
In their experience, so they haven't killed me or my family. Wingo's sister Betty testified that her brother was non-violent, but the district attorney questioned her about her testimony at a previous hearing where she told the jury that he wanted to kill her husband. And she had to be talked out of it.
Right.
And that she only let Wingo take the truck from her house because, quote, he held a gun on her, on his own sister.
He was going to kill me.
Nonviolent. Very nonviolent, though. They read her statements, and she's like, well, I mean, he didn't shoot me. I mean, that's sure the gun was pointed, but I don't even know if it was loaded. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he threatened me. He may have pistol whipped me. Look, I'm not going to get into details of the thing. Let's just say he
also
didn't
said that he wouldn't be taken alive. And look, he's sitting right there.
There he is. So things happen. Another one, a Catholic priest comes in. Catholic priest comes in and tells the jury that Wingo believes in God and everything else, and he's doing great now and all that sort of shit. Another preacher here, this Catholic guy, I think, he says that Wingo should be allowed to live, and then quoted scripture. Thy will, not my will. Thy will, not my will be done. I think a good choice would be to let him live. That's what he said. So there you go. In rebuttal, the DA told jurors that, quote, he keeps telling you that you have choices. Wingo had choices too. That's what the case is all about, choices and chances. How many chances do you get? How many choices do you get? He's had choices and he's had chances. Well, that's a lot of fucking choices and chances. We can't afford any more chances for Jimmie Wingo. So it's a 9-woman, 3-man jury, and they go into deliberation here on guilt or innocence, and he is found guilty of first-degree murder here, so they don't buy any of his bullshit at all about not being there. He does also, there's 10 defense motions for a mistrial right at the end of the trial for a multitude of stupid reasons. Sure. So anyway, he comes in and sentencing on him, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you as well.
Oh, wow.
Electric chair for you. Electric chair for everybody. He's handing out electric chairs like Santa's handing out fucking, PlayStation games over here. Just doling them. Yeah. Nothing. So the next year, right after all that, is Christmas of '83. And Gary Brown, the son, says that he spends more of his time wondering why his parents were singled out for murder, but he said, quote, there's not an answer for that. I'm sure we'll ask ourselves why, because our parents were kind and gentle people. Violence was the last thing on their minds. There was never any violence in their lives. And why these people, I draw a blank every time I think about it. There's no answer for it. They said they're getting on. He said time heals, because it's a year later. It doesn't heal completely. There's going to be a void there always. It's going to bring back memories of what happened to our parents. To what degree the joy of Christmas overwhelms that, we don't know yet. I'm sure we'll still enjoy Christmas, but I'm sure we'll still, every year, I know I'm more conscious of it now than I was just a month ago because it's the Christmas season.
Yeah,
so,
much better man than I am.
Yeah, they destroyed Christmas forever.
Yeah, forever.
No, Christmas is canceled. Not happening. Good news, the Webster Parish Jail is fortified at this point.
Oh.
They spend $15,000 upgrading the jail security. Quote, we're operating a 1950s model jail with 80s model prisoners, was what the sheriff said. Now he's trying to blame the equipment. There's a funny thing that Gordon Ramsay says in his master class thing when he's teaching somebody, and he go, or no, it's one of those shows he does where he's teaching somebody to cook and somebody fucks something up and he goes, well, this ring, I couldn't figure it out. And he just goes, oh, don't blame the equipment. That's his whole, don't blame the equipment. That's never the equipment's fault. It's your fault. So this guy's blaming the equipment essentially
don't
here.
Blame
That's
the egg timer.
Yeah, don't blame the fucking jail. It had bars and locks. You just didn't operate them. Don't act like it was some sort. They're acting like it was some sort of failure of technology that they got out, rather than the fact that guys went, "Hold on a minute while you talk to your mom. I'm gonna go back in the cell. You guys
stay put. I heard a
You'll
noise.
stay put, right? Yeah, you'll hang tight, right? Okay, I can trust you." So, he ended. This guy, by the way, the sheriff easily won re-election as well.
Is
somehow.
that right?
That is fucking amazing. Then he says, quote, the public didn't hold me responsible, but I'm in charge and I've got to take the rap. Wow. The Browns, on the other hand, have a different view on it. They have a $1.7 million wrongful death suit seeking damages for the deaths of their parents, burial expenses, expert witness fees, and court costs. Named as defendants are Wingo, Glass, the sheriff, and 2 of his deputies, and 2 of the companies which insure the sheriff's department. They're fucking suing everybody. Rightfully so. They should. Yeah. Wingo and Glass were the last prisoners to escape from the Webster County Jail, or the Webster Parish Jail. They've installed 5 new surveillance cameras in the cell blocks, placed a camera in the jail elevator, and installed a device to halt the elevator in the event of an emergency. They also placed phone jacks in the cells to allow phones to be brought in and make phone calls from there. None of those things say we kept deputies from unlocking a door and letting people out, because none of those things stop that.
No.
None of them. Stop that.
Except for letting them make the phone calls in the cell rather than letting them out to do it. Also, it doesn't sound like they are not admitting guilt. It sounds like they are saying, we fucked up and we're going to do all this to try to curb it.
Doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So Glass is appealing. The death penalty comes up pretty quick. There's some appeals, but this all happened in 83. By 87, they're ready to execute him. Wow. It's not a 20 years in here.
Oh, I'll bet you this is when Harry Connick's dad is there. They were fucking. There was like a revolving door, turn and burn, man.
They were cranking it up. Wait till you hear how many they're doing. Like they're at one point, you'll hear in a second. So the U.S. Supreme Court rejected the appeal, Glass's appeal, without comment, his last appeal. The High Court also refused to stop it. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rejected Glass's appeal, and the governor said he would refuse to stop any execution unless he gets new evidence that the person is innocent. Mm-hmm. So the only authorized method of execution for Louisiana is the electric chair. Glass and his lawyers had argued, and this is like kind of turned into a famous case here, argued that executions by electrocution violate the 8th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution because causing to pass through the body of the person convicted of a current of electricity of sufficient intensity to cause death, and the application and continuance of such current through the body of the person convicted until such person is dead, and electrocution causes the gratuitous infliction of unnecessary pain and suffering and does not comport with evolving standards of human dignity, which I agree with, but that's what they got over here. So Justice William Brennan was the dissenter of the Supreme Court. And he said that it's ridiculous. He said basically that it's the evidence suggests that death by electric current is extremely violent and inflicts pain and indignities far beyond mere extinguishment of life. Witnesses routinely report that when the switch is thrown, the condemned prisoner cringes, leaps, fights the straps with amazing strength. Hands turn red, then white, and cords of the neck stand out like steel bands. The prisoner's limbs, fingers, toes, and face are severely contorted. The force of the electric current is so powerful that the prisoner's eyeballs sometimes pop out and rest on his cheeks. The prisoner often defecates, urinates, vomits blood, and drool. Brennan also said that electrocution is nothing less than contemporary technological equivalent of burning people at the stake. God damn.
Wow.
Hard to disagree with. I mean,
it goes hard. And that's all. I mean, it all happens. It's true.
All true. Yeah, we did that. The botched executions bonus episode back in the day. If you haven't tried Patreon, there you go. There's one of those there. June 12th, 1987, which is my birthday. Look at that. On my birthday, Jimmie Glass's execution day as well. So
happy birthday, James.
I was having a nice day, and he wasn't, I feel like. So, his family there were the only people demonstrating. Uh-huh. They had, how they usually have demonstrators outside saying, don't kill him. Just his family out there. The crowd there was a lot of crowd of death penalty supporters, though, that wanted him dead. And they said that his brother was out there and a bunch of people wearing, Amnesty International shirts and all that sort of thing. They had pictures of Glass there. Glass's mother and father paid the last visit to their son there at Angola. The warden said that he understood the elder Glasses were spending the night in Baton Rouge, so where Glass could talk to them by telephone just before being taken to death. His 5-year-old daughter, though, did not visit him. Glass had a 5-year-old fucking daughter, this idiot. He had a kid right before he went in here.
Yeah.
Like right before he went to jail.
At 19 he had the kid?
Yeah, he had to have knocked the girl up, then went to jail. Yeah. It's the only way the math works. His brother said, you can't put a price on human life. And he said that, they shouldn't kill his brother and all that sort of thing. He said, his sister said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. He's also got someone on his side named Martha Anderson Glass, who married him on death row while awaiting execution. She says her husband's changed greatly since 1982. Quote, my husband is the bravest man I know.
You got to get
the
out.
The bravest. He's in deep, deep remorse for this crime. The person who committed that crime died a long time ago. She said that the last words he'll speak to her are, I love you. And I'll tell him I love him, and there's nothing else to say. She is the New Mexico president of Amnesty International, by the way.
Okay.
So she's not even like, some fucking trailer girl that he lured in there, whatever.
She's smart enough to know better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This woman went to college and deals with criminals all the time. He said that there was speculation. It's all, whatever, never mind. So last day, here we go for him. Jimmie Glass, he meets with his parents and his wife and his sisters and his brothers. Last meal, Jimmy.
Hell yes.
Last meal, he chooses, what do you think?
Fried okra, fried chicken.
Nope, pepperoni pizza.
Why do they always do that?
That's something they crave. A pepperoni pizza, a salad with blue cheese dressing, fresh peaches and cream, and 2 soft drinks. That's what he got.
Peaches and cream?
Peaches and cream. I mean, I don't know.
Choice.
I don't know. Down south, maybe they eat a lot of peaches and cream. I like peaches. I love peaches. Now, last words here. He is strapped into the chair. And all that, and they ask him, do you have any final words? And he says, quote, yeah, I think I'd rather be fishing. That's his last words. Yeah, I got last words. I think I'd rather be fishing. And then they zapped him up there. So he is pronounced dead at 12:14 a.m. Let's see, 8 minutes after the first of 4 15-second jolts of electricity was administered. And after the U.S. Court of Appeals, shut him down there. He was the 3rd execution that week in Louisiana.
Jesus.
Wingo's up next here. Now, speaking from death row, he continued to deny he ever went into the Browns' home. He says that he wouldn't discuss the case in any details, though, because he'd need to talk to his attorney first. I think time for that's running out, Chief.
I don't want to incriminate myself.
Yeah, you're on death row. You are like, it is execution week.
Yeah.
His defense attorney, though, said that they're trying to get, all these organizations that free innocent prisoners involved, and they said that they're going to appeal with new evidence to the Supreme Court today. The State Pardon Board also he's got to go before, and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals and the Louisiana Supreme Court, they all refused to grant him a reprieve, reviewing a videotape statement by the prosecution's key witness, Gwen Hill, who said in a tape statement that, Jesus Christ, this is their new evidence. Jimmie Morgan, another Jimmie, Webster Parish Sheriff's deputy, forced her to lie on the witness stand, she claims now. Okay. She claims she lied. She claims that this Morgan told her that he would jail her if she did not have sex with him. That's what she claims. And he said that in addition to that, he ordered her to help him against Wingo. You're going to fuck me and help me against Wingo, or I'm going to put you in prison. Now this particular cop appearing before Wingo's pardon board hearing denied the allegations, saying he never saw Hill until shortly before the trial. He says all charges against Hill were dropped before she testified at Wingo's trial. So I don't understand. He said, quote, she told us she lied and that she was coerced into lying, is referencing to an interview he and a private investigator did with her. By the way, now she's married and lives in Murfreesboro, not to this idiot. In the videotape, she said her testimony was based on information told to her by law enforcement officials, particularly James Morgan. On the tape, she said she didn't tell the truth at Wingo's trial because of everything that was put in my head by Morgan and the others involved in the case. She said, quote, talking about Morgan, he told me I could spend 10 years in jail for running with Jimmie. And Morgan declined to comment on the accusations. But later on, they officially deny it, of course, saying, no, of course not. On the tape, Hill said Morgan told her he would try to help Wingo if she would go to bed with him. Basically, I could put you in jail for 10 years or I could try to help your boyfriend. Which would you prefer?
How hot is she?
I don't know. That he's like, listen.
He's willing to jeopardize everything he's got over sleeping with a witness?
I mean, people have jeopardized more for less. I'll say that.
Probably right.
for pieces of ass, men have done worse for that.
Point.
But it doesn't seem logical, but we don't know how horny he was because logic goes right out the window. So that's the other problem.
Yeah, but and with Wingo, he's got the least evidence too. So maybe you do. Maybe you do leverage
I could help him out.
Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. Also, she said that during the 3 months she was in jail being held as a material witness, Morgan took her out of jail several times and brought her personal items, such as a hairdryer, a pillow, and night clothes. Gave her special treatment, she claims. The district attorney says there was no coercion. All the witnesses were on the up and up. The vote for the pardon board is 4-0 against Wingo. So he is fucked. He said there's no evidence because I was never there. I challenge anyone to really investigate and show where I was guilty. But they did a trial. That's what that's called. He said that he split up, and I don't know what you're talking about. Last minute appeal. He meets with his mother, and his mother tells him his fate. It goes all the way to the Supreme Court, hoping for a stay, and the Supreme Court votes 7-2 against hearing his appeal. So
I don't even want to hear it.
Nope. He said that, even after that, he has high hopes that the governor will intervene, but he's ready if the governor doesn't. And the governor said, I have no plans of intervening.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't care about him at all.
Yeah.
So he is scheduled to become the fourth man killed in less than a week at Angola here. But his minister says Jimmie Wingo has found God.
Good.
You can't kill him. He's found God. Physically, Jimmie has some medical problems with bronchitis, but mentally, he's a Christian. That's what he said. Literally his words. Physically, some medical problems with bronchitis. Mentally, total Christian. Doing great. So June 16th, 1987, Jimmie Wingo execution day here.
Okay.
Let's see here. His spiritual guy said he's in a real good mood. He's visiting with his mother right now, and he's ordering his last meal. Last meal, Jimmie. This is some down south. This is some Louisiana shit.
Some sweet tea and
he gets
catfish.
Fried seafood platter with extra shrimp. That's a very Louisiana thing. And French fries and a Coke.
Okay.
That's not bad. It's a pretty good meal there. That's pretty good.
I'd like that.
Got some cocktail sauce in there. Shit, yeah. His last words actually was a 2-minute religious diatribe.
What?
So I'm just going to go with the end of it, and that's plenty. He says, quote, "Hi, I'm ready. Hi. Hi. Jimmie Wingo here. I'm ready. Hi, I'm ready. I'm an innocent man. You are murdering me to this day. I do still love you all in Christ. God bless you all." That was what he said. You're all murdering me, but it's cool. It's all right. 2-minute long statement, and he sat down in the chair. They strapped him in, and there you go. He gave a thumbs up signal when he was strapped into the electric chair.
Ready to go.
Ready to roll.
Who are you, fucking Evel Knievel?
Locked and loaded, buddy. Yeah, did he think they were going to perform some sort of magic trick with him at this point? They were going to throw him in a pool, and he had to try to get his way out of the fucking straps?
You're not jumping the Snake River, sir.
No.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs upped it. His tombstone says, quote, "The Lord was his shepherd."
Okay.
And the Brown family says, they don't love executions, but he said it will certainly close a chapter on that part of it. It relieves you to know that justice is being done, but we can never forget our parents. Now, the next execution is a guy named Leslie Lowenfield, who's scheduled to die the next day for a 1982 shooting of a 4-year-old, a sheriff's deputy's 4-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. A sheriff's deputy and her 4-year-old daughter.
Oh, no. You can't
and 3 other family members.
No.
5 people, including a deputy and a 4-year-old. Now, the Supreme Court issued a stay blocking the execution and said that it would remain in effect until the justices consider his appeal. If they reject the appeal, there's a new date, blah, blah, blah. But they ended up voting for that, and the sheriff, or the guy, prison warden, Hilton Butler, said he was relieved by it. He said, quote, "Yeah, I need to rest a while." Like, can you imagine
tired.
I've been killing people every day. Like, that dude goes home and goes, "Oh my God, I did it again." Like, he can't feel great about that. I hope not. He's a fucking monster if he loves it. That's the response I would want from him.
Guy needed a rest.
I need a rest from fucking killing people here. The House Committee on the Administration of Criminal Justice voted 8-2 against imposing a 1-year moratorium on executions for study on capital punishment alternatives. A Louisiana poll shows 72% of the people still want the death penalty there. 24% said no.
Today?
That was in 1990 or 1987. I'm sorry. It was in late 87. 72% yes, 24% no. This is before DNA and all of our exoneration. So there you go. And that, everybody,
holy
is
shit, Louisiana.
Jesus Christ, is Louisiana with Dixie Inn and all that shit. And the Wingo, the Jimmies. Jesus, the bad Jimmies. They're giving the Jimmies a bad name. I don't like this at all.
I don't like that there was two Jimmies.
Not good. I'm like, this is not cool at all. We
two
can't
Franks.
do that. No, it's two
Charles, anything.
Two Charles, yeah, anything but two Jimmies. Give me fucking two Billies. I'll take it. Something. But there it is, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to that. And thank you so much for maybe spending a piece of your holidays with us and all that sort of thing. And yeah, all that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets, get your merchandise, everything like that. Patreon. No Patreon this week. It would come out on Christmas Day. And between the fact that I have my son here and something else I'm going to talk about in a second, it's just not going to happen this week. I promise you on our next 2 weeks from now, we'll do a rip-roaring, rockin' fucking couple of Patreons. I promise you that. Check out the back catalog. Listen to some of the crazy ones you forgot about. Yeah. They're in there and all that sort of thing. If you want to get us a present, review on whatever platform you are, and we'll be happy with that. Gift somebody Patreon, though. You can do that. So give the gift of Patreon. Give the gift of laughter. Do that.
Jesus, that sounded like a diamond ring ad.
Cheesy. I had to be cheesy about it. So
anyway, went to Patreon.
I promised you guys bad news, so here we go. I only say this. I'm pretty private about kind of shit. But, I say
with
some
most
stuff.
Most of your life?
Most of my life, I'm kind of private, but I feel like I kind of owe everybody this only because of the role you had in it, and it just everybody. Italian grandma died, so very sad.
People, you happy with yourselves?
You happy with what you did? So the role you played in it. Yeah. No, I say the role you played in it honestly because everyone out there, the amount of love that you gave her and like we all showed her all that stuff when people would tweet about her and put up posts and all this type of shit. We showed her that stuff, and she glowed. I mean, you made an old lady's last 5 years like she was walking on air. I mean, when we took her to a show in Phoenix, and that was the only time she got to go, kind of the last time she really went out somewhere big like that. And I introduced her, and everybody gave her a huge standing ovation. She said that was the greatest night of her life. I'm serious. Everybody out there, you made that what she said was the greatest night of her life. Like she's never felt so good in her life, she said. Everybody was walking up to her and she said, they were taking pictures with me like I was the movie star. She said she was telling everybody in Italy, I'm famous. They all love me here. Like she had no idea what a podcast is or whatever, but she just knew strangers were coming up and going, oh my God, you're Italian grandma. Can I have a picture with you?
Well, okay. Italian. I am a grandma.
So she loved it so much. So you everybody out there, really, I appreciate that. I appreciate you showing that love and shit. And thank you. You don't have to say you're sorry or any of that stuff. I get it. Thank you. I know everybody's sorry. Nobody's like, good, fuck your grandma. Like you're all sorry about it. We all loved Italian grandma. She was a force of nature. But that's why the Patreon, I don't know, there's Christmas, my son is here, and now I have to figure out what's up with funerals, and there's so much going on. There's no way I can put 2 extra episodes up this week. We just can't do it. I'm sorry.
It's a lot.
Extenuating circumstances, I would say here. We never missed one before, and literally it took death to do it. So otherwise we would definitely be doing these episodes. But there we go. Just thought I'd let everybody know. Thank you though for being so cool and for always making Grandma feel good. It's a big fucking deal. It really is a big fucking deal. And she's good. She outlived 3 husbands. She's fine. She's good.
Pretty amazing.
In her mind, she's like, I win.
Yeah.
She's outlived a lot of people. That's how they go. So good for her. She's 93. So she had a great run. And
that's a lot.
She died, by the way, just at home surrounded by her daughters and stuff. So it was good. It was good. It wasn't like she didn't die scared and alone in an empty room somewhere. So
and a credit to her, COVID didn't take her. She did it her own way, and that's pretty fucking amazing.
Luckily for her, she can't really move around and hasn't left the house in a couple of years. On whether COVID or not, she was going nowhere. Doesn't matter.
Best time to be alive with a horrible pandemic around.
Totally, it works out so well.
Stuck in your house anyway.
Stuck in your house, like, hey, Grandma, yeah, you're not missing shit. So good for her.
Yeah.
That said, let's hear something positive, okay? Yeah. Let's hear. We got a list of these shout-outs, Jimmie? I would love to hear. This will make me feel better. Let's hear a list of the people who have been so fucking wonderful to us all year long, and well, especially around these holidays. Thank you so much, Jimmie. Hit me with this list like a dead grandmother to the head.
This week's executive producers are Terry Lynch, Harry Paratestes, James, Catherine Janouche, and her ER nurse team say, go get your vaccinations. They are overwhelmed. And Catherine, thank you so much for everything you're doing. You're
hustling, man.
Fucking hero.
Thank you for hustling, Catherine.
Don't stop,
really.
Please. I know it's exhausting. Angel Kavanaugh, Kevin Hoydal, Cameron Kushwara, Jordan Bennett, of course, Christy Facey, Nicole Petrie, Susan and John McQuilkin, Rocky Franzen, like the wine? Is that Franzen? Franzia,
Rocky
right?
Franzia.
Right. Carrie Clark, Wesleyan Parton, Maria Alicia Allison, Amy has a crush on Jimmie, Maggie Corcoran, Shayla Itticheria. That's the one. Jason Newark also. Thank you guys so much for what you guys do for us. You genuinely carry us through all of this horse shit, and we really can't thank you enough. Other producers this week are Michelle at Centeno Kennels. They're in Canada. I think they're in Ontario. Liz Vasquez, Adam and Danielle Weinberger, and their late kitten Oreo. Rest in peace, Oreo. Rafael Paredes. Jam Berry, Jeff Shrewsbury, Steve Schnell, Danielle Wood, Corporal Carl Kirshner, Peyton Meadows, Gary Howard, James Martyr, Annalise Alburis, Mike Kuling, Jamie Harris, that's Jake Labir, WWF jobber Steve King, and Baron Von Raschke.
AWA there, of course.
Janice Hill, Lauren Sullivan, Thomas Rubio, Happy Hour in Jane Lou, West Virginia, Krista Walker, Barbara Howells, happy birthday, Barbara, Kathleen Turner Overdrive. What is that? What is that from? Kathleen Turner.
That's Bachman Turner Overdrive, but with Kathleen Turner, the actress, put in there.
What is it from? Is it
nothing? I don't know if it's from anything. Maybe
she's
it is.
Just fucking with us.
Maybe.
Cherie Carter, Thomas DeMello in Paraguay, Daniel Johnson, Jackson Walsh, Tish Cooper, Liv Seidel Gaylord, Alex Lowenson, Morrigan, Autumn Signs, My Serenity, Mike Deutschman, Brianna Donatucci. That's a fun last name.
Hey,
that's fun to say.
That is fun.
Leslie Lytle, Joan Echevarria, D. Lee, DL, I don't know, DLE. Will Roth, Anika Woods, Sarah Helling, Hales Bells, Todd West, Scoff with no last name, DA with no last name, Susan Schilling, Monaco no last name, Jesse Woodward, Tim Lynch, Bud Permenter, Eli Opal, Drum Mum, Zach Nipping, Jonathan Couch, Jesse Mulder, Ann Gonzalez, Holly Hamill, Kristin Brandenburg, Ira Tanner, John Helton, Dennis Petkovic, Lynn Morrison, that's Darren Nelson, Justin Carroll, Megan Seals, Zachary McVeigh, Nick Carter, probably not, Jay with no last name, John Lindsay, Jose Lozano, Alexis Nolasco, Chris Linneberry, Jason Martin, Iron Balls McGinty. Is that somebody? I think so. I don't know. Kayla Martin, Brandy Nord.
They gave us money.
Brandy Nordine, Matt Turnquist, Olivia Giovanetti. Oh, I think I got it. Will Vendramini, Sarah Sherry Taylor, Jim Crackcorn. Obviously, nobody cares. Dylan Brown, Reese, Carla Whitcomb, Meg Oldman, Kelly Laird, Jay Canfield, Adrian Lindsay, Grain Aspel, Darcy Luna, Michael Walker, Corey Osborne, Ben Cleese Jr., Hope Handley, Harry Falcon, what? Falcon? Scroat? What? You son of a bitch. Kath Finn, Michelle Manty, Sue Todd, Linda Ibbotson, Griff with no last name, Colin Hockenberry, Beth with no last name, Becky Tveit, Nipsey, Jeff Lambert, Plain Simple Taylor.
Oh,
Zach,
shit. Are you kidding me? Wait,
What
go
is that?
back. Nipsey Jeff Lambert, did you say?
Yes.
Yes, I know that person. I've known him for a long time. That's a very awesome dude right there. That's
Nipsey.
Nipsey, it's a funny thing from back then. Get a hold of me, Jeff. Jesus Christ.
Pleasure to see you, Nipsey.
Yes, get a hold of me, brother. I'm here.
Zach Murphy, Kayla with no last name, Kelsey Buchait, I think, Buchait, KPYR, Jason Finney, where did I go? Rachel Copeland, Zach Zulio, Betty Ann Bernard, Mariah Martin, Josh Michael, Ali DeVore, Eshek, Ishik, Gigi Stippich.
It's all of
it. Stephen McAdams, Jessica Kutara. No, that's Kuda. Christine Lundstrom, Julie Jeromechik, Jake Jalee Murphy. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're a fucking
Richard
mess.
Emerson, Ashley Roughhead. Take it easy, Ashley.
Hey, Jesus,
Kyle Webb, Lorianne.
I like the enthusiasm, but for Christ's sake, we're very sorry. You gave
Not
us
so
money,
rough,
and we're being terrible people. We apologize. It's just for comics, and we hear something like
Floramo,
that.
Lorianne Floramo, Amy George, Jan Ismay, Rohan Submachine Gun. What is that name?
The fuck?
There's no way, but submarine ammo. Nope. Caitlin Coyle, Kelly Williamson, Catherine Ledig, MC Bredner, Ashley Butler. Oh boy, almost done. Drew Holderieth. Clinton Graham, Keith Bottles, Kira Morris, Steve Jameson, Amelia Patterson, John Bunch, Danner Brewer, Heidi Bayer, Will K, Becky Holder, Marianth Villasuyer.
Got that?
That's not a name.
Sure about
Cole
that?
Kimsey, Sloan Eccles, Lauren Long, Rebecca Matinee, Sadie Johnson, Trevor Cozart, Cash Ciamardil. What? No. Daniel Brengard, Barbara Jean, Ivan Lichting, Lauren Rasmussen, Salvador Gizo, Emma Belling, Virginia Brown, Sean Leonard, Tiny Tom Cruise, not for public view, Catherine Cameron, Sherry, Sarah Hatchey, John Royston, Victor Cole, Matea Sekulich, Shirley Betancourt, Megan Lieberknecht, Scott Fortune, Ryan Coleman, Christopher Burke, Tim Oliver, the real Mexican pimp, Christina, nope, that's just Christine Sizabarka.
Yeah.
Scavara, Jenna with no last name,
Scavara.
Luke Hestay, Cassandra Hurst, Jennifer Spirial, Aaron Smith, Sarah Martin, Scott McCutcheon, Alex E. Beck, Taylor Fife, Retta Cruz, Zoe with no last name, Nancy N., Christopher Taggart, James Sharp, 45, Carly Rivers, Wesley Bolton, Dylan Ship, the Jutenans, Holly Victoria, Lucy C., Chad Harrison, Bronwyn Cravens, Jamie Monroe, Matthew Smiraldo, Rachel Fox, Cheyenne Romaine, Joe Berzozowski, David Ostrowski. Fucking hell, man. Eddie Sylvester, Deborah Sophia, Laura Garvey, Katie Smith, Alwyn Cassidy, Nick Reynolds, oh boy, James Blackwood, Heidi Myers, Vincent Wilcox, Gracie Renee, Chris Kitchens, Brandy with no last name, Mary Marie Olson, Alex Wells, Adam Modley, Gracia Aggressor, Claudette Evans, Aaron Vanda, Anthony Davis, probably not the one that plays basketball, but all of our patrons also. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, you heartwarming sons of bitches, you. Honestly, thank you for everything you've done for us this entire year and just everything. We just appreciate the fuck out of you people for sticking with us. We go to these live shows. People have saved these tickets for 2 years, and everybody's there. It's wild. We're blown away by that you haven't either given up, forgotten about us, or just been like, I'm not going to see these two schmucks. It was a bad idea to you.
Show anymore. There's so many reasons to not show up.
And you do. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for always showing up for us. And Jimmie, what if they wanted to show up for you? How can they find you?
They've showed up more than my father did in my first 28 years, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. And keep showing up. At Whisman Sucks is where I'm at on the internet. Where are you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is Funny, or you can just Google search the show and hosts, and we're going to pop up, because if someone else has a show called Small Town Murder and they're doing this, I want to have a chat with them. So if you find those people, forward their names along to us so we can hunt them like animals. Otherwise, keep hanging in there, keep coming back, and enjoy your families, enjoy this time, and until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus